Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy KCM What Ifs. Today we are gonna be reading Naruto, the Black Fox, or what if Naruto was killed and joined the Fox village. So sit back, relax and enjoy. The sun was just going down after a day of battle. Many of the Leaf Ninjas along with most of the others had already started back home, however not all of them. Tsunade rubbed her eyes as she sat down on the ground. Her body was sourer than it had been in years, if ever. "How are you doing?" asked Jiraiya as he sat down beside his old teammate. "I have been better," said Tsunade as a horse-drawn chart full to the brim with dead leaf ninjas went by. "I am just wondering how I am going to explain all this to the villagers." "It is a war," said Jiraiya. "Yeah, and we suffered over 50% casualty rate just from this battle," said Tsunade as she moved some of her dirty hair behind her ears. "It is better than having the village get destroyed," said Jiraiya as another cart full of dead passed them. "Try telling that to the families and loved ones of those who died," said Tsunade. "I am not saying it will be easy," said Jiraiya. "So how did your student handle herself?" "Very good," said Tsunade as she looked toward Ino and Choji. Both of them were sitting beside each other, both still dressed in their bloody clothes. Ino was resting her head on Choji's shoulder as he rested on top of her head. "Any sign of Sakura and Naruto?" "The Kyuubi just got a report saying they are both alive and on their way back," said Jiraiya as Tsunade nodded her head. "Also, I am assuming you heard about the Akatsuki? How we walked right into their trap and now they have the power of 2 nine-tailed beasts plus a large part of the Scorpion army," asked Tsunade as Jiraiya nodded his head. "Yeah, I heard. From what I can understand they still are not as strong as either side in this war, but it is close," said Jiraiya. "We went from having a two-sided war to having a three-way war," said Tsunade. "So it would seem," said Jiraiya as he pulled a hip flask out. "Want some?" "Sure," said Tsunade as she quickly took it and took a deep drink only for her eyes to widen the moment the liquid touched her lips. "Water?" asked Tsunade as her old teammate grinned. "You store water in a hip flask? Don't tell the younger generation. It is fun to tell them I can beat them up while I am drunk," said Jiraiya with a small laugh, possibly the first either of them had heard all day. "I guess, but I think the younger generation would beat the crap out of us now," said Tsunade. "You're right," said Jiraiya as he took his hip flask back and downed some cold water. "When it comes to Naruto and his group, we can still take on the average ninja." "The average ninja? Is there anything as an average ninja?" asked Tsunade. "In our generation we were the best of the best, the Sannin. In this generation there are dozens of ninjas that could beat us even in our prime. I think the average ninja is a lie and that each generation just gets stronger." "Wow, you sounded so much like Sensei right there, it was scary," said Jiraiya as both of them laughed a bit. "Yeah, I guess I did," said Tsunade before snapping back to reality. "Alright, Jiraiya, I want you to make sure all our dead are cleared from the battlefield and returned home." "I will do as you wish, Lord Hokage," said Jiraiya as he stood up and bowed to Tsunade, causing her to glare at him. It took a day to reach the village, however word had gotten back to the Leaf about how bloody the battle had been. Large crowds had gathered by the gate waiting for the wounded and the dead to come through the gate. "Don't worry Naruto-kun, we are almost at the gate," said Sakura as she looked at her husband who was lying on a stretcher being carried by 2 ANBU ninjas. "I can walk," said Naruto as he leaned up to stand up only to get pushed back down by Sakura. "I know you can walk, but your chakra level is still low, and add to the fact that your Chidori wound is still raw," said Sakura. "Alright," said Naruto as they crossed into the village. As the march of wounded and dead crossed into the village, many people started to cry as they saw their loved ones return in body bags. "It is all the demon's fault," yelled an unknown voice in the crowd of people. "Stupid fucking idiots, don't they see that they would all be dead if we haven't fought them?" thought Sakura as they pushed into the village toward the main hospital. Already at the hospital, Shikamaru Nara finally opened his eyes. He had to blink a few times as the eyes adjusted to the bright lights. "Shikamaru, you're awake?" cried Temari as her face appeared in the light. "Please don't tell me you died too," asked Shikamaru. No, neither one of us are dead, said Temari as the light started to dim. How did that happen? I was bitten, asked Shikamaru. Sakura was able to control the flow of the venom to a single spot on your body, said Temari, however we had to cut that part off. Which part? Asked Shikamaru. I am so sorry. It was the only way, said Temari, I cut off your pinky finger. That is all? Asked Shikamaru. That is all, yelled Temari, I thought you would be upset with me. It is only a pinky finger, in the grand plan it isn't that big of a deal, said Shikamaru as he raised his hands to his face and saw that he was missing his right pinky finger. I mean it hurts like a bitch, but it is better than not feeling anything at all. Thank God, I thought you wouldn't forgive me, said Temari. Temari-chan, I would have forgiven you if you had cut off my entire arm, said Shikamaru before he kissed his wife's lips. Now did we win? In a way, we surveyed heavy casualties but none of our close friends died, said Temari. They escaped but we killed a lot of them, but it seems that the Rain Village was controlled by the Akatsuki. So it was a trap for us too? Asked Shikamaru as he sat up in bed. Yeah, said Temari only to push him back down. Now rest and in the morning we will talk about what all happened. Alright, said Shikamaru as he lay back down. Meanwhile in the Hokage's office Tsunade sat doing paperwork. It was the worst paperwork she had ever done. Sending letters to those with loved ones who had lost people on the battlefield. A knock at the door caused Tsunade to look up from the paperwork. Enter, said Tsunade as the door opened as Hinata and Kiba entered her office. You wanted to see us? Asked Kiba. Yeah, I know you two just got back from the battlefield but I have a mission for you, said Tsunade. We did just get back today, said Kiba. I know, but we just got reports saying the Rock Village is gone and people are coming out of the Earth Country. I need you three to try to find a group of these people and find out if these reports are true, said Tsunade. 3? Asked Kiba. Behind us against the wall, stated Hinata as Kiba turned to see a man dressed in a dark gray coat with sunglasses on his face. Shino, long time no see, said Kiba. Yes, it has been a long time, said the bug master, Shino. I thought you would enjoy heading out together on an old-style search mission, said Tsunade. Also I would send another team, but if they come in contact with demons they would be killed. Not us, I can summon the few lions we have left into battle, said Hinata. Correct, you are the safest to send out, said Tsunade, and I don't want to sign any more death notices. The hours seemed to pass so slowly to Sakura as she was sitting in a chair by Naruto's hospital bed. Night had already fallen and Naruto was asleep. She knew deep down he didn't need to be in the hospital. His side was healing well and his chakra was up to safe leaves, but she still wanted him to stay tonight in the hospital. A knock at the door caused Sakura to snap awake as the door slowly opened. Mom? Asked Sakura as Rin Haruno entered the room. Came to see how my daughter and son-in-law are doing, said Rin. I have been better, said Sakura as she stretched her neck. I only had a few cuts and some chakra extraction, not much. I know, but how are you doing mentally? Asked Rin. I don't know why, but I can't stop thinking about Karen, the woman I killed, said Sakura. I mean, I don't like killing, but I have done it before. So why is this one drawing me up the wall? Did she say something? Asked Rin. She begged for mercy because she was a mother and she claimed that I was pregnant, said Sakura. Are you? Asked Rin. I did an over-the-counter test and it came back negative, so no, said Sakura. It was all a lie. Karen just wanted to live so that she could kill us later. Still, that answer doesn't sit with you, said a new voice as Katara appeared in the room. Katara, I thought Kyubi had assigned you to be part of the home village defense, said Sakura. Well, the battle is over now, so I came to see how you all were doing, said Katara as the demon fox sat by the window. That answer doesn't fit with you? No, it doesn't, added Sakura. Maybe it has something to do with wanting to start a family, to be a mother. For Naruto-kun and I to have a whole family. Vixens around your age and normally start their families about now, added Katara. Well, I should say 22 to 28 million years old is when most vixens have pups, which would translate to 22 to 28 years old for you humans. I had you when I was 25. That is only 3 years older than you, said Rin, and the only reason why we waited was because of the war and getting all the money we needed to make sure you had everything you needed. I think we are getting ahead of ourselves, said Sakura. It doesn't matter, the test came back negative, so I am not pregnant. How did this Karen say she knew you were a child? Asked Katara. She said she could sense 2 extra chakra sources within me, said Sakura. 2? Asked Rin. Yeah, she tried to say I was carrying twins, said Sakura with a laugh. Twins are rare to have. Sakura, our family does have a history of twins. Your uncles who died in the war were twins and your great-grandmother had 3 sets of twins, said Rin as Sakura's eyes widened. In fact, my mom always laughed and joked to me about how I was the first one of our family not to have twins. Sakura, hold still, ordered Katara as she walked forward and placed one of her tails on Sakura's stomach. What are you doing? Asked Sakura. It is a simply just we foxes have to find out if we are with child, said Katara as chakra began to glow around Katara's tail. It allows the detection of even the weakest chakra sources. How come I don't know it? I read most of your medical justice scrolls, asked Sakura. It isn't a real medical justu, it is more like something a mother fox teaches her female pups when they grow up. Like how you humans teach kids about safe sex, said Katara as she closed her eyes. There it is. What? Asked Sakura. Karen wasn't lying, you are carrying 2 young children within you, said Katara as Sakura's and her mom's eyes widened. But the test, said Sakura. It must have been too early, the chakra networks are just forming, said Katara. How many weeks along is that? Asked Rin. Less than 2, said Katara. Congratulations, Sakura. Wow, just wow, said Sakura with a smile. Congratulations dear, and don't worry, you and Naruto will make great parents, said Rin, and I will be there to help you 2 out all the way. Thanks mom, said Sakura as she started to think about how Naruto would react to the news. Her smile soon turned to a frown. What is it? Asked Rin, surprised that her daughter wasn't smiling. I just realized that if Karen was telling the truth about me being pregnant, then she was telling the truth about having a young son, said Sakura as she ran her hands through her hair. I just killed his mother. Across the world, in the burning remains of the rock village, Sasuke lies on a bed in the remains of the rock hospital. A team of medical snakes were treating his wounds. Beside him, sound asleep in a small crib, was his son, unaware that his mom was dead. So Seamus, what are we to do? Asked Nico as he stood beside the Lord of Demon Snakes. We clear this village out and make it a frontline base for our victory over our enemy, said Seamus. We are lucky we are equal in strength to the foxes, wolves, and what remains of the lions. With the Akatsuki out there as a third weaker force, they will not attack us because that will leave them open to the Akatsuki, and if they attack the Akatsuki first they will be weakened and we can strike, said Nico. Yes, that means we all wait, hissed Seamus, and we can replace our power faster than they can. Can we get a new summoner? Asked Nico, to replace Karen. No, the code states that during war a demon summoner cannot be replaced until 10 years have passed, said Seamus. That is too bad, said Nai. If you want to grab something to eat, the chefs can surely cook these humans well. Very well, said Seamus as he slithered away. Along the earth and fire country border, a small group of people moved through the underbrush on their way to the leaf. Come on, we have to get moving, said Hanabi as she scanned the area for any demons. We may have crossed back into the fire country, but they can still attack us. For all we know, every village has fallen to those demons, stated a young Chunin, one of the few rock ninjas to make it out of the village before the fall. We will not know until we get there. Besides, where else will we go? Asked Hanabi. Just go to the leaf, said one of the badly wounded ninjas. Father, we have no idea what they would do to you, said the first ninja. It's alright, I deserve whatever punishment they give me, said the Chunin's father. Alright, we should be there in a day or 2 depending on how we move. The sun was just coming up over the leaf as Sakura stood in front of the mirror in the bathroom of her husband's hospital room. Thanks to her mother's advice, she wakes Naruto up right away and tells him. Flashback. Congratulations, Sakura, said Rin as she hugged her daughter. Thanks mom, said Sakura, I just can't wait to tell Naruto-kun. Just wait until he wakes up and you get home, said Rin. Why? Asked Sakura as her mom smiled. Let's just say men, in general, don't really know what is happening when they first wake up, said Rin. Flashback. Rin Haruno sat on the toilet seat of her and her husband's new house. She was looking at the pregnancy test, just waiting for the results to come in. Finally a mark appeared on the small screen. Instantly Rin grabbed the box to double-check the mark. After double-checking the mark, she threw the bathroom door open and jumped on the bed, causing her sleeping husband to jump awake. What is going on? Asked Kane Haruno as he reached for a kunai he had stored inside the nightstand only to pull out a book. Kane, calm down, said Rin. Rin, I love you to death, but it is 6 in the morning and I have been out in the field for a week. I want to sleep in, said Kane as he lay back down, placing his head into the pillow as he dropped the box on the floor. Rin rolled her eyes at her husband. He wasn't a morning person like she was, but then again, spending a week on the battlefield would make anyone want to sleep in. Kane-kun, whispered Rin as she leaned forward to reach his ear, moving aside some of his bright red hair with her breath. You are going to be a father. That is good, yawned Kane into his pillow as Rin leaned back up and waited. 3, 2, 1, thought Rin as suddenly her husband's eyes snapped wide open as he sat up and looked at his wife. What? Asked Kane as he looked into his wife's green eyes with his own green eyes. Their best friends Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki always joked that they were made for each other just because their eyes matched. You are going to be a father, said Rin with a smile. A father? Asked Kane. Yeah, a father, said Rin as she looked into Kane's eyes, trying to understand what his wife said. Wow, said Kane as he reached for the phone. I have to call Minato. He will not be back until after midnight today, explained Rin. End flashback. Your father didn't understand what I was saying at first when I tried to tell him when he first woke up, said Rin with a smile. I am just telling you not to make my mistake. Thanks mom, said Sakura, but how should I tell him? When you feel it is right, said Rin. End flashback. Sakura stood before the bathroom mirror. She moved to the side and slowly pulled up the front of the shirt to show her toned stomach from years of training. It's hard to believe that I am pregnant, thought Sakura. With twins, added inner Sakura. That will be rough, said Sakura as she looked back at the sleeping Naruto, however we will find a way. Meanwhile out in the countryside, Hinata, Shino, Kiba and Akamaru jumped from tree branch to tree branch. You know, this reminds of all those missions we did as kids, said Kiba. Yes, it has been way too long since the three of us have been together, said Shino. How are you and your girlfriend Kat doing? Asked Hinata. She is doing good, said Shino. She runs some sort of flower shop, right? Asked Kiba. Herbs, not flowers. Her family supplies a lot of the medical herbs for the Leaf Hospital, corrected Hinata. My mistake, said Kiba. An honest mistake. You have been busy and my love life isn't high on your priority list, said Shino. Yeah, maybe once this is all over we can have dinner together, said Hinata. I will ask if she wants to do that, said Shino as they moved closer and closer to the border area. It's good to be home, said Naruto as he and Sakura walked into their home. Sakura was struggling to hold off telling him. They had left the hospital only a few minutes ago. Naruto had offered to use the Thunder God technique to transport the two of them home, however Sakura had put a stop to that, saying he needed to save his chakra. While they walked, a few people glared at them, a few even whispered words of hate under their breath. Thanks to their demon hearing, they could still hear everything they said. Naruto-kun, why don't you sit down and I will get you something to drink? Said Sakura. I can't do that, Sakura. I need to see the old hag and start planning our next move. Said Naruto before Sakura pushed him down onto the couch. Naruto-kun, everyone will be there tomorrow for a meeting, explained Sakura as she went to get 2 glasses of water. She gave one to Naruto and kept one for herself as they both sat down on the couch. Naruto kicked off his shoes before placing his feet on the glass coffee table. Normally Sakura would complain about that, but at the moment she didn't care. She had placed her head on the soft spot on Naruto's neck. Naruto leaned over and placed an arm around his wife as he rested his head on top of hers. "I am so glad to be home," said Naruto as he closed his eyes and took a deep breath from Sakura's hair. The smell of her strawberry-scented shampoo always calmed him down. For a moment Sakura didn't say anything as she thought about how she was going to say it. "Naruto-kun," said Sakura as she looked up toward Naruto's deep blue eyes. "Yeah?" asked Naruto. "You are going to be a father," said Sakura as Naruto blinked for a second before his eyes widened. "A father?" asked Naruto. "Yes, a father," said Sakura again as she guided his hand to her stomach. "Wow," said Naruto. "That is what I said," said Sakura as the two of them kissed. "I knew we wanted to wait until the war was over." "Who cares," said Naruto, "how did you find out?" "Karen actually told me," said Sakura as Naruto raised an eyebrow. "She was begging for her life and said that as a mother I should spare her, so that she can be with her son. At first I didn't believe her because she is a snake, but Katara used some justu to detect 2 new chakra networks in me." "2?" asked Naruto. "Twins," said Sakura with a smile as Naruto's eyes widened again before he passed out. At first Sakura was worried, but after checking his vitals and making sure he was okay, she couldn't stop herself from laughing. "Wow, you can fight demons but you pass out the moment you find out you are going to be a father to twins." Meanwhile out in the forest near the rock fire country border the small group led by Hanabi moved ever more slowly. "We need to keep going," said Hanabi. "We need to rest," said the genin. "My father is wounded." "Isn't the wound healing?" asked Hanabi as she looked toward a nurse who had escaped the fall. "No, if anything it is getting worse," stated the nurse. "Fine, we will rest for a bit," stated Hanabi as the group sat down by a river. Back in the leaf Naruto had finally regained consciousness. "Twins," said Naruto for like the 100th time. "We can't be totally sure but yes, in just under 9 months you and I will have twin kids to look after," said Sakura. "Wow, this is just wonderful, Sakura-chan," said Naruto as he kissed her lips again. However, a knock at the door caused Sakura to walk away from her still husband. After looking through the door hole she quickly opened it as her mother walked through the door. "I thought you two may want some food," said Rin with a smile as she held up a large bag full of homemade food. "Mom, I told him so you can stop pretending that is your only reason for being here," said Sakura with a grin as her mother placed the food on the table. "Great, now, I can finally tell my friends that I will be a grandmother," said Rin. "Never thought you would be happy about being a grandma." "Mom?" asked Sakura as she took her place at the table as Naruto followed suit. "Well, on some levels it is a sign of me getting old, however it also means I can spoil the kids and you two will have to deal with them," said Rin with an evil grin that caught her daughter and Naruto off guard. "Calm down, I am only messing with you. It is the same thing my mother did with me." "I see," said Sakura as she forced a laugh as her mom started to hand out the freshly made food. Later that night the refugees from the earth moved toward the leaf. "How long until we reach the leaf?" asked the young Chunin as they pushed through the woods. They couldn't risk the roads because of fear of demons. "Sooner than you think," said a voice as the knife appeared at his neck out of nowhere. "Who are you?" "I am Kale," said the Chunin. "Who are you?" "She is my sister," said Hanabi as she walked out of a bush. "And you knew full well I was here." "So what if I did? In a time of war we have to be as careful as possible," said Hinata as she lowered her blade from the young Chunin's neck. "So the reports are true, the rock is gone?" "Yeah, we got freaked, blown off the face of the world by those damn demons," snapped Kale. "I am a demon summoner, so watch your tongue, not all demons are bad," stated Hinata. "How about the leaf?" asked Hanabi, "is it still there?" "Of course it is," said Kiba as Hishino and Akamaru appeared. After the battle the enemy retreated into your nation and attacked it, stated Shino. The other nations are still fine. That is good, said Hanabi. Good, because of you all our village is gone, stated Kale. Your village chose not to fight so it isn't our fault it got attacked, stated Shino. Still it is because of your damn Namikaze that the war started, said Kale. This conflict is older than the human race itself. Naruto had nothing to do with it, explained Hinata, and just because your village hates Namikaze doesn't mean you can blame them for everything. Watch me, said Kale as Hinata rolled her eyes, but something was off about this kid. Apart from his eyes black and the black lines under his eyes, he seemed like a taller version of Kiba when he was 12. However, brown hair wasn't that incoming, and there were reports from the Great Ninja War that some captured leaf ninjas were raped by the members of the Rock in order to gain access to bloodline traits. Maybe this kid is related to the clan by that. What are you going to do to us? Asked Hanabi. It's up to the Hokage, said Kiba as he looked at the maybe half-dozen ninjas and the dozen civilians who were in front of him. However, I see no real reason why you can't stay. The only problem may come with the ninjas. We will take our chances, said Hanabi. I am assuming father is dead, asked Hinata as she crossed her arms and looked at her younger sister. Yeah, he died running away from the demons, said Hanabi as Hinata smiled. That is too good for him, said Hinata. That is your father, snapped the young Chunin Kale. You never meet my son of a bitch father, said Hinata. Haishir was a son of a bitch, said another voice as another figure stood up, his feet barely able to hold him up as he moved forward. Even on shaking feet he was tall, maybe 6 feet tall with a Rock ANBU uniform on, his broken mask hung by his side. His upper right chest was covered with a blood-soaked wrapping. His wild dark brown hair went down to his neck. Even Hinata's eyes widened as she noticed the 2 thin red lines under each eye. My God, it can't be, thought Hinata as her husband's eyes narrowed. Hello, said the man. You son of a bitch, snapped Kiba as he charged forward, slamming the man into a tree before pinning him with his arm. Long time no see, Kiba, said the man as Kiba glared into the man, his eyes filled with hate. Leave him alone, snapped Kale. Stay out of this, kid, snapped Kiba back as he pushed the kid away. Stay out of this, Kale, said the man. Yes, father, said Kale as Kiba's eyes widened as he pushed him harder against a tree. It isn't bad enough that you left your village, your clan and your family, but you had to create a new family to replace us, snapped Kiba. What is going on? Asked Shino as he looked at Hinata. Shino, that is Kaden Inuzuka, said Hinata, Kiba's father, the one that left the Leaf Village when Kiba was only 6 years old. Kiba, I do not expect you to understand, but, started Kaden Inuzuka as his son Kiba held him tight against a tree, his elbow on his throat. I was fucking 6 years old, Hana was 10 when you abound us, snapped Kiba, I should fucking you kill you. Kiba-kun, it will not matter, said Hinata as she grabbed her husband's shoulder. When were you stung? On my way out of the village 2 days ago. It was a small silver scorpion thing, said Kaden. A silver, said Hinata. A what? Asked Kale. It is a rare type of scorpion. Instead of the normal fast venom, it carries a slow venom that slowly shuts down every muscle in the body, said Hinata. It is best used in interrogation. The victim is stung and questioned as their body begins to shut down. If they don't get the answer they want, they wait until the last moment and give the antitoxin. So give him the antitoxin, stated Kale. Doesn't matter, the antitoxin needs to be delivered within 30 hours of being stung. Said Hinata as she looked into Kaden's eyes, you will die anytime within the next 24 hours, sorry. Well, that sucks, said Kaden. I am personally amazed that you are still able to stand, said Hinata, most people wouldn't be able to stand by now. I am a tough beside, said Kaden. We are maybe 6 hours away from the leaf at top speed, said Kiba, maybe Sakura and the other medics can do something. I am sorry, Kiba-kun, but the toxin should have reached his bone marrow by now, and that means if they clean the blood of the toxins it will just come back. Said Hinata, I don't think there is anything they can do apart from easing the pain as he dies. Looks like you will see me die after all, said Kaden. I don't care if you live or die, I just want to watch Mom tear you a new one, snapped Kiba as Kaden's eyes widened. Listen, can I explain why I left? Asked Kaden. You left because you couldn't stand having Mom compare you to Minato Namikaze, said Kiba. How do you know? Asked Kaden. Some told me and I told my husband, said Hinata. Ah, you are married to my big boy here, said Kaden as Kiba's eyes narrowed. Big boy? Asked Kiba, you used to call me your little boy. You are my oldest son, said Kaden. Well, you are older than Kale, said Kaden as Kiba eyed his apparent younger brother. Not only did you start a new family but you named your replacement son after Grandpa K? Asked Kiba. Until he died when I was 10 he pretty much raised me after you ran out. Listen Kiba, I wanted to take you and your sister with me but I knew you would have a better life with the rest of clan, said Kaden. I would have had a better life if my father didn't run out, snapped Kiba. Imagine spending every day of your married life and knowing that your wife loved another man, snapped Kaden. Could you stand that? Could you have stood there and listened day after day to your wife, the woman you loved, talk about another man? A dead man saying how nothing I did could ever live up to him. You had a family and you just ran off, snapped Kiba as she pushed Kaden into the tree before letting go. Kaden fell to the ground at the base of the tree. You are no father, you are a piece of shit. Kiba, said Hinata as her husband pushed past her. Hinata, you hate your father for doing everything he did, however at least you had a father around. My father abandoned me and for that I will never forgive him, said Kiba, and then replaced us. I understand you're upset and I wouldn't forgive him too, but we have to get them to the leaf, said Hinata. There you can talk about it with your family, because like it or not Kale is your brother, a member of our clan, he is family and once your father dies we will have to care for him. Why? Asked Kiba as he looked at the genin. He is a member of the Inuzuka pack, and pack members never abandon each other, said Hinata. Don't do what your father did and abandon a member of your family. Alright, said Kiba, I will let the clan council decide his fate. A few hours later Sakura lay in bed with her husband. She could feel her husband's breath on the back of her neck as he slept, even as his arms were wrapped around her, holding her close. She should be sleeping but her mind just couldn't find any rest. Her mind was filled with so many questions, what their kids would be like, however the most heavy on her mind was the most important. Would she make a good mother? She loved caring for kids at the hospital but raising kids was very different than treating their small wounds. Then the villagers, thought Sakura as she moved her hand down to her stomach as if protecting her two unborn children. Naruto had always worried about the villagers and for a while Sakura loved it when Naruto would worry about their future kids. However, now she was worrying about it too. She didn't want their children to experience the hate of the village even as with a loving family at home. You're thinking about them too, aren't you? Whispered Naruto suddenly as one of his hands moved off her hip to her hand. Their fingers wrapped up. Yeah, said Sakura, I am just worried about messing up. Naruto chuckled a bit. What? Asked Sakura. It is just that you sound like a mother right there, said Naruto as he pushed his face deeper into Sakura's hair. Besides, you will be a great mother. I am worried about me. I wasn't worried about you, you will make a great father, said Sakura. I wish I had your conviction in me. I have never had a father so I don't know how a father is supposed to act. I never had a family growing up, said Naruto. You will be a great dad, Naruto-kun, said Sakura. Just like you will be a great mother, answered Naruto back. Now get some rest, you have two kids growing in you. Alright, said Sakura. The sun was just coming up over the leaf village. Tsunade hadn't slept all night as she prepared for today. In a few short hours a massive memorial Severus would be held for everyone they had lost during the battle. Some members of the council had called to pull out of the war, however once reports from survivors from the rock came in. Reports of entire units being obliterated in an instant, of demons rounding up humans like cattle before killing them and eating them. They now knew that if they didn't fight alongside the demons, the other demons would kill them all. Lady Tsunade, said Shizune as she entered the room. Yeah, said Tsunade. Hinata's team has returned with some survives from Rock, said Shizun. I see, said Tsunade. Kiba's father is among them, said Shizun as Tsunade's eyes widened. What? Asked Tsunade. Kaden Inuzuka is back in the leaf, however is wounded with a scorpion sting that Hinata says can't be cured, said Shizun as Tsunade looked down at her desk. I suppose it is for the best, some would kill him anyhow, said Tsunade. Unknown to her, just across the road at the main hospital, Tsum Inuzuka along with her now married daughter stormed up a flight of stairs and through a pair of double doors until they reached Kiba and Hinata, who were standing in front of a large piece of glass. Are you sure it is him? Asked Hana as she looked at her younger brother. Take a look, said Kiba as Hana looked into the room on the other side of the glass. Standing there was Ino, Sakura and two other people she had never seen before working on her father. Sakura and Ino looked at each other before walking out of the room. How is he? Asked Kiba. Sorry, but there isn't anything we can do apart from making him confinable, said Ino. He is my dad. You two are among the best medical ninjas in the world, don't tell me you can't do anything, snapped Hana. Hana, said Kiba as he put his hand on his sister's shoulder. If there is nothing they can do, then there is nothing he can do. Don't make that son of a bitch conformable, let him die as painfully as possible, said Tsum. Mom, how can you say that? He is dad, said Hana. He left us, said Tsum. I never understood how you could still care for him. He is dad, plain and simple, said Hana. Glad I have someone on my side, said a new voice as Hana and Tsum turned around to see a young kid, in a blood-stained Chunin vest and a rock headband on his arm. Who is he? Asked Hana. Dad's new son, said Kiba as Hana's eyes widened. What? Asked Hana. That bastard started a new family, growled Tsum. It isn't time to get angry, said Hinata. Hinata's right, judging from how fast his organs are failing he has just over an hour, maybe 2, said Sakura, so why don't the 5 of you go in there and say your goodbyes? Forget that, I am going to go to the funeral of real leaf ninjas, not this asshole, said Tsum as she turned to leave. Kiba, I will understand if you decide to stay. I will represent the clan at the funeral. Mom, please stay, said Hana as her mother walked away from her dying ex-husband. Let her go and be with your father, said Sakura. Alright, said Hana. He is awake and waiting for you all in there at any time, said Ino as she stepped aside, letting Kiba, Hinata, Hana and Keel enter the room. Ino closed the door behind them. Thanks for coming down on my forehead, said. She closed the door. I am just sorry there isn't something I can do, said Sakura as the sound of bells started to fill the air. Sounds like the memorial service has begun, said Ino as they looked out the window as dark rain clouds hovered over the leaf. At that very moment a light rain started coming down in a light drizzle. It is almost as if nature itself is crying like everyone else, though Sakura, as the rain started coming down harder as they entered one of the many changing rooms. They quickly changed into the traditional funeral arterial, black robes with a black waistband. They even had black headbands for the day, which all ninjas were supposed to wear on their foreheads. I hate funerals, said Ino as she tied back her hair. This isn't a funeral, it's a memorial. The families will still have their own private funerals, said Sakura before she looked at the ground. Like it really matters, some bodies were never recovered and they will never be. Whole unites were just whipped off the face of the earth, said Ino. On a brighter note, are you happy to be back in the hospital? Yeah, I did, said Sakura, even if it was only for this case. Maybe after the war you can come back, said Ino. You just want to get out of doing paperwork, said Sakura as the two of them walked out of the locker room and started down toward the main lobby. As they passed by the pharmacy, the pharmacist walked toward them. Ah, Mrs. Namikaze, I got your prescriptions ready, said the pharmacist as Ino watched as Sakura took 2 pills and quickly placed them into her pocket. Thanks, said Sakura as she walked away toward a grinning Ino. What? Those are prenatal supplement pills, said Ino as Sakura rubbed her forehead. So that means you are pregnant, and the second type of pill is used for when women are carrying multiple kids. I was going to wait until tomorrow to tell you, but yeah, said Sakura with a smile. Congratulations, forehead. How did Naruto take it? Asked Ino. He did good until I told him about twines, said Sakura, then he passed out. I think most men would, said Ino as they walked out into the rain to meet their husbands for the memorial servers. Up in Kaiden's hospital room an awkward silence filled the air. So isn't anyone going to stay? Asked Kaiden as he forced himself up to a sitting position. It's just hard to know what to say, Dad, said Hannah with tears in her eyes. I mean, we get you back, but only for a little bit. Come here, my big girl, said Kaiden as Hannah ran up and hugged her dying father. I missed you. I missed you too, Daddy, said Hannah as Keel walked up and joined the hug. Why don't you go up there? Thought Hinata as Kiba heard her in his head. I still haven't forgiven him, said Kiba back. You don't have time to forgive him, he will be dead soon. You are running out of time to spend with him, said Hinata as Kiba finally joined the family hug. Meanwhile, Naruto held a black umbrella in his hands as he and Sakura stood in the rain near the main gate. All along the main road that lead from the main gate to the Hokage building were small tripods. On each of the tripods were photos of the people who were lost during the battle. The tripods were side by side just so that they could fit them all in. What are you talking about? Asked Tsunade. Sakura killed Karen and Shikamaru's finger is healing well. I am not talking about that, said Kyubi as he looked at Sakura. He is talking about me, said Sakura as everyone looked at her. Turns out I am pregnant. Tsunade's eyes widened before she smiled. And per our own village rules, that means you can't serve on a frontline battlefield, and once you reach your 7th month you can even serve in behind the front duties, said Tsunade. Well, congratulations, but they will take this time to replace their lost demon summoner, said Inoichi. No, they can't. According to the law, they can only replace a demon summoner during a time of war until 10 years have passed, said Kyubi. However, it may not matter, they may already have one. How? Asked Hinata. Sakura, you told Katara that Karen told you she had a son with Sasuke? Asked Kyubi. Yeah, she did, said Sakura. Sasuke told me the same thing, said Naruto. When a demon summoner has a kid, there is a chance that the child would be born with some demon chakra within them. If both parents are demon summoners, then it is all but a curtain, said Kyubi as Naruto's and Sakura's eyes widened. It is sort of like a bloodline ability, however there is no guarantee that the child's demon chakra will be that strong. But no guarantee that it will not be weak either, said Shikamaru. The kid is young, maybe just over a year old, said Kyubi. However, if he's anything like his uncle Itachi, he will be very dangerous before the average kid, said Inoichi. Also, he will be surrounded by demons and his father, which means he will have a twisted look at the world, said Shikamaru. We may be jumping ahead too much, since we can't take on the demons right now, we need to take down the Akatsuki, said Naruto. And how are we going to do that? Said Kakashi as he finally closed his book and started talking. First, we need to break down the strength of the Akatsuki. If we can't go after the leaders right now, we should go after the foot soldiers, said Naruto. You are talking about going after Lee and everyone apart from this Madara Uchiha, said Shikamaru. Yes, with no support staff he wouldn't be able to pull whatever else he is planning to do, said Naruto. Also, I don't care how powerful anyone is, they can't do everything by themselves. That could buy us time to get the other demon forces ready, said Hatch High. In the meantime, the rest of our forces will start building a base of our own in Earth Country, said Kyubi. What, why? Asked Choza. To counter the base being built by the other demons, answered Shikamaru. Across the world, in the remains of the Earth village, Sasuke Uchiha walked around the remains of a house. He kicked aside the remains of a mother and child who had died when their house caught fire. So you are up and moving around? Asked Suigetsu. Yeah, said Sasuke as he moved only to wince in pain. But still not at 100%, said Suigetsu. I could kill you at 1% of my strength, stated Sasuke. But can you kill one Naruto Namikaze in that state? Asked Suigetsu as Sasuke threw a kunai at Suigetsu's face. The kunai flew right through him as he turned into water. Are you done? For now, said Sasuke as he looked out the burnt-out window to see a massive wall being built from the remains of the village, reinforced with demon steel to make it stronger than anything built by man. We are on the fucking defensive until new forces come online. And sitting and waiting isn't in your nature, asked Suigetsu as he moved into the kitchen looking for food. It isn't yours, stated Sasuke. True, but unlike you I have something to make me want to stay for the moment, said Suigetsu. What? Asked Sasuke. Yogurt, said Suigetsu as he pulled some frozen yogurt from the refrigerator before opening it. It is even my favorite flavor. Those people had good taste. Sasuke simply glared at him before walking away, leaving Suigetsu to eat his yogurt in a burned-out house with 2 dead bodies just outside the kitchen door. Meanwhile, the council meeting had adjourned and everyone was heading out to do whatever they had planned to do for the rest of the day. Most had to deal with how they were going to mourn the dead, however for Kiba and Hinata it was how to deal with a new addition to the clan, Kiba's half-brother Kale. The clan council isn't going to meet until tomorrow, so you will spend the night with us, said Kiba as they walked into the main clan house. It was the same house that Kiba had grown up in. His mom had moved out a few months ago to a side house to give Hinata and Kiba more alone time as a married couple. Can I get you anything to eat, anything at all? Asked Hinata as the 13-year-old boy looked around the strange house. The strange photos of people he didn't know and a whole new house. Suddenly out of the corner of the room came a large creature. It tackled Kale to the ground before licking his face. Sorry about Akamaru, said Kiba. That is okay, Dad always had a dog with him too. Said Kale, well, not a ninja dog but a dog at least. An Inuzuka without a ninja dog? Asked Hinata. He wasn't allowed to take his with him or even train another ninja hound, explained Kiba. If he did then the leaf would have killed him for giving away secrets. In fact Akamaru is the son of my dad's ninja dog. So you never trained with a dog before? Asked Hinata. No, said Kale. That is something that will have to change, answered Hinata. Wait for the council to decide if he will be allowed to train a dog, said Kiba. Akamaru, why don't you show Kale to his bedroom? Meanwhile across town at the Namikaze compound a knock came from the door. Coming, said Naruto as he opened the front door to see Jiraiya, Tsunade, Choji, Ino, Shikamaru and Temari standing there. Let me guess you want to throw a party, asked Naruto as Sakura came from the door. Yeah, said Jiraiya as he held up a case of what Naruto guessed was sake. You know I can't drink that, asked Sakura. Yeah, but we can, said Tsunade. Come on in, said Sakura as they entered the house. Hinata and Kiba would come but they are dealing with Kale, said Ino, and Niji and Tenten are on guard duty. I don't know how I would deal with finding out I have a brother, said Choji. I don't any of us would know how to feel, said Naruto. Why don't we take the party downstairs to the bar and let the women talk upstairs, said Jiraiya. Works for us, said Sakura as they went their separate ways. Back at the Inuzuka compound, Kiba sat in the kitchen with a beer in his hands. Across the kitchen near the sink was Hinata with a beer of her own. Kale was in his room getting what few positions he had in a place he would like. How are you doing, Kiba? Asked Hinata. I should be asking you that, replied Kiba. Your master seat lolly was sealed away and yet you don't seem to be crying into your beer like me. Well, we are not sure that seat lolly is dead, we may be able to save her, said Hinata. You know that unlikely, said Kiba. Yeah, but sometimes the smallest amount of hope you have is all you need, said Hinata. It's just I still hate my dad for walking out on us and now I find myself being jealous of my own brother because he had more time with dad than I did, said Kiba. It's human nature, said Hinata, that and you have no idea how you are going to relate with your new brother. I mean we know nothing about him, his likes and so on. Yeah, said Kiba. That is why you need to understand his position, said Hinata as she downed her beer before reaching into the fridge and getting another one. He knows nothing about you or the leaf. All he heard is stories from your father about you as a kid or stories about the leaf being his enemy. You two will just need time to get to know each other. I guess, said Kiba. The real question is, do you believe what your father said about your mom being a drunk? Asked Hinata as Kiba looked at her. How did you know about that? Asked Kiba. Those walls may be soundproof to humans' ears but not to demons' cat ears, said Hinata. The question is, do you believe him? In some ways I don't want to believe it, said Kiba. However, asked Hinata. When I was 10 I can remember her buying a lot from the local liquor store. I always thought it had to do with Hannah being an average teenager and stealing from my mom's liquor supply, said Kiba. However, Hannah doesn't drink at all. I remember her wedding a lot of people were complaining that she didn't serve alcohol, said Hinata. Yes, and that means that my mom must have been using it for herself, said Kiba. I would talk to your sister if I were you. She was 10 or 11 when your father left and would remember more than you would, said Hinata. One thing at a time. First is the clan council meeting tomorrow, said Kiba. Across town, Naruto and the other guys were at the small bar in the basement. Some congratulation is in order, said Jiraiya. Yeah, said Naruto with a smile as he poured himself a drink. He wasn't that big of a drinker. He and Sakura would go through a case of beer in a month, but it was already his second one of the night. Any idea on the gender? Asked Choji. Choji, she is only a few weeks along. There is no way she would know yet, said Shikamaru. How would you know that? Asked Naruto. I guess there is no point in hiding it, said Shikamaru. About 2 weeks before the battle, Temari thought she may be pregnant and the over-the-counter test was positive. How come you didn't tell me? Asked Choji. I am your best friend. Sorry, but if it was true you would be among the first people I told, but Temari was a false alarm. The 2 blood tests and 2 more over-the-counter tests proves it, said Shikamaru before he smiled. You know, I was saddened to find out it was a false positive. I was looking forward to being a father. I just feel old now, said Jiraiya. So do you want a son or a daughter? Asked Choji. Sakura-chan is having twins. I am just happy to become a father, said Naruto with a smile. However, I would like at least one of them to be a boy, but either way I will love both of them. I am happy to be having a family with Sakura-chan, but now. You're worried? Asked Jiraiya. Yeah, I am just worried that I will screw up or mess up in some way, said Naruto as Jiraiya smiled. What? Your father said almost the same thing when he found out your mom was pregnant, said Jiraiya. I will tell you the same thing I told him. What? Make sure to keep your dirty books on a high shelf so that the kids can't get to it, asked Shikamaru as the guys laughed. That parenting is a journey, and yes, you will make some mistakes, everyone does, but in the end all that matters is that you did your best and you love them, said Jiraiya. You know, that is possibly one of the first pieces of good advice I have gotten from you in a long time, said Naruto with a small laugh. The sun was just coming up over the leaf. The bell that was ringing once per person lost had stopped ringing around midnight. Even as the bell stopped ringing didn't mean that the sadness had ended. All over the leaf, private funerals were being held for those lost, also happening at private clan meetings. This meeting of the Inuzuka clan council has been called to order, said Tsum as she, Kiba and 3 other elders of the clan gathered in a large room under the clan compound. As per the clan laws, because Kiba led the clan on the village council, he wasn't allowed to be the leader of the clan council. As per tradition, it fell on one of his parents to take the role, in this case his mom. After his mom died, the council would vote to see who would lead the clan council. Normally it would be the wife of the clan leader. So what issue do we have before us? Asked an elder so old that it was hard to see how she was even able to see from how wrinkly her face was. Councilwoman Eri, we are here to discuss what to do about Kale, said a middle-aged man with glasses, the clan's record keeper and keeper of the law book Shigeo. But Kale died years ago, said Eri. Great-grandma, I know you are getting up in age, said Kiba as he looked at his father's grandma. Watch your tongue, sonny boy, I was fighting before you were even born, said Arya as she tried to hit Kiba with her cane only to knock over a glass of water that was on the table. Remember, this is a formal meeting. Representative Kiba, please address her as Councilwoman Eri, said the elected member of the council Takeo. Sorry, said Kiba, Councilwoman, are the Kale we are talking about is the son of your grandson Kaden that he had once he left the village. Ah, I get it now, Kiba, said Eri. So the question must be asked, do we let him join our clan? asked Takeo. According to the law, as long as a majority of this council votes, he may join with temporary membership to the clan with full rights to vote in clan elections given in 5 years, said Shigeo as he repeated the line of clan law from memory. Not that it matters much, he is 13 now and you are not allowed to vote until you are 18, so it doesn't matter, said Kiba. I think it should be clear that we can't let this offspring of a member who quit the clan be allowed in, said Tsum. I am not so sure about Tsum, said Takeo. I think your hatred of your now dead ex-husband may be overpowering your reason. Has the boy been trained in the use of ninja dogs? Asked Eri. No, he hasn't, answered Kiba. There, he is too old to begin training with a ninja dog, stated Tsum. The law states that one has to start training at the age of 8. Correct, said Shigeo. Because he hasn't trained with a dog in our ways means he isn't one of us, said Tsum as she lifted her glass to her lips and took a long drink of water. He may be blood but not in our ways, am I right? Besides, he is a rock ninja. I hate those motherfucking rockhead ninjas, snapped Eri as she flung her cane hard against the wall. They are always out to destroy the leaf and all that we built. Why should we punish him for being born outside the village? If he was born in the village, would we be having this question of loyalty? Asked Kiba as his mother glared at him. Besides, the rock is gone, who is he going to betray us to? You never know, said Tsum. Besides, we are a family, we are a pack and we don't turn our backs on our family, said Kiba. While Kiba was in the hot seat with his mom at the council meeting, Sakura was finally opening her eyes. What the? I had this alarm set for 9, asked Sakura as she sat up in bed only to see that it was well past 10:30 in the morning. Suddenly the sound of notice coming from somewhere else in the house caused Sakura to place 1 and 2 together to find the answer. Naruto. Slowly Sakura got up before stretching a bit as she walked out of the bed and toward the source of the sound. To her amazement, Naruto was sitting on the floor of his nursery packing toys and other things away into scrolls. Naruto, why did you turn off my alarm? Asked Sakura as she appeared in the doorway. Well, you just looked so peaceful and I thought you could use some more sleep because you're pregnant, said Naruto as Sakura fought the need to rub her temples from Naruto knowing next to nothing about how a pregnancy worked. However, she didn't fight the smile that forming from knowing how much Naruto cared about her and their kids. Naruto, I am less than a month along and if it wasn't for Karen we probably wouldn't know I was pregnant. So you can treat me the same for a while, said Sakura. Sorry Sakura-chan, said Naruto. No need to worry, I am not complaining about getting some extra sleep, said Sakura with a smile, because when these kids come we will pray for extra sleep. Yeah, we will, said Naruto. So what are you doing? Asked Sakura. Well, I am packing away these things, said Naruto as he put away some small stuffed animals that were meant for him a long time ago. Naruto, you don't have to do that, said Sakura as she grabbed the animal. It's just, is it right to give the toys that were meant for me to our kids? Asked Naruto. Your parents bought them for you to play with, however I feel they would love to know that their grandkids were playing with them, said Sakura. Alright, said Naruto as Sakura placed the animal beside the wooden crib. That is when Sakura noticed something was on the side of the crib. The tinny glint of metal caught her eye. It turned out to be a small metal plate that was attached to the side of the crib. What the? Asked Sakura as she pulled the crib out a bit only to see that the small metal plate was really a long line of gold plates running down the side of the leg. What is it? Asked Naruto as he stood up. It is a plate that reads Huyu Izo Namikaze, son of Jin Eri Namikaze and Haruyo Keiko Namikaze, said Sakura as her eyes widened. Naruto, the date is over 100 years ago. What? Asked Naruto as he looked down the line. There was a long line of names, all Namikaze with dates beside them. Finally he stopped a name he had heard before, his grandpa. Altair Aio Namikaze, son of Daichi Aya Namikaze and Chiki Eri Namikaze. Then below that was his father's plate, Minato Daichi Namikaze, and his sister's name plate. Finally at the very bottom of the list was another name. Naruto Altaira Namikaze, son of Minuto Daichi Namikaze and Kushina Namikaze, born October 10th, read Naruto out loud. What is going on? This is a clan crib, said Sakura with a smile. What? asked Naruto. See, some clans have certain baby items like cribs, rattles or toy kunis that are passed down from generation to generation and every member of the clan uses them, said Sakura. All these plates must be the kids who have slept in this crib before. So every member of my clan has used that as their crib at some point or another, asked Naruto. It may just be the main house, but I am guessing that is the case, said Sakura. Then why is my name there, said Naruto, I never slept here. There is a note, said Sakura as she noticed a thin piece of paper stuck under the metal plate. Slowly she unfolded the old dusty paper. Flashback. The turning of a key caused the front door of the Namikaze's main house to open as a figure walked down the darkened halls of the house. He approached a side door and opened it to show a ready nursery. The figure placed a small bundle down on the crib before looking down. I know it is later than it should be, but you are finally home, Naruto, said the third Hokage as he looked down at the sleeping infant. The doctors had to make sure Naruto was fine and that the seal was holding, which meant he spent over 2 weeks in the hospital before being released. I am only sorry that your parents are not here to look after you, but I will do the best I can to fill those shoes for you. He smiled as the sleeping baby turned in his sleep and looked toward a small stuffed bear. Your future will be hard, Naruto Namikaze, and for years you will never know that you are a Namikaze, said the third Hokage as he placed his hand on Naruto's forehead. I will try to make people understand that you are a hero for holding the Kyuubi within you, but many will not see that, some may never see past that. Tomorrow I will have to take you to an orphanage where you will be called Naruto Uzumaki after your mother, however for tonight at least you are a Namikaze. Slowly the third pulled out a small metal plate that he had a trusty old friend make for him. Slowly he placed the plate on the crib right where it belonged, in a chain reaching back over 100 years. Slowly the third sat down on a rocking chair before taking out a piece of paper and a clipboard. Slowly and carefully he wrote a letter to place with the plate so that when Naruto returned to his true home in the future he would know how the plate bearing his name arrived. End flashback. The third put it there, asked Naruto. And he let you sleep in it, said Sakura as she pulled out an old photo, the kind that developed in a few minutes from the letter. It showed baby Naruto sound asleep. Looks like the line wasn't broken. I guess, said Naruto. And how come you never told me your middle name is Altair, asked Sakura. I didn't know, said Naruto as Sakura raised an eyebrow. How could you not know your own middle name, asked Sakura. Sorry, but when you are worrying where your next meal is coming from you don't really care about your middle name, explained Naruto. However, it is strange, Altair is my grandpa's name. Sakura did a double take at the plates, which is when she noticed a pattern. The middle name of Naruto's dad was the first name of his grandpa, same for his sister with her grandma. It was like that all the way back to the very beginning. I get it, it's a tradition, said Sakura. What? Asked Naruto. All the middle names are the first names of the grandparents, said Sakura as she looked at Naruto's confused face. Alright, say we have a son, his middle name would be Minato after your dad, and when he grows up his son's middle name will be Naruto after you. Ah, I get it now, said Naruto, but what if there are brothers or sisters? Then I guess they named them after the mother's parents, said Sakura before she smiled. Well, it looks like we don't have to worry about finding a middle name for our kids. Meanwhile, in the Inuzuka clan council meeting, the debate raged between Tsum and the other members of the council. Finally a vote was held and a decision was reached. Bring in the boy, said Takeo as the door to the council room opened up to let Kale walk into the room. He stopped just in front of the large table in which the council Saturday. He looked physically scared as Tsum slowly stood up and glared at the boy as she read the ruling. Kale, it is the vote of this council with one dissent that you be allowed to join the clan, said Tsum as Kale let out a breath, but be warned there are conditions. You will not be given the right to vote for council representative until 5 years has passed, and if any time before that you are found to be a traitor you will be kicked out of the clan. I understand, said Kale. Alright then, sign this paper to join this clan, said Tsum as she held out a piece of paper. Kale signed the paper, and for the first time he signed it Kale Inuzuka too. Remember, he is named after his grandfather. Welcome to the clan, said Shigeo as he and the others stood up to greet their new clan member. Kiba, I need to talk to you, demanded Tsum as she pulled her son into a side room. The moment they were alone, Tsum started screaming. How the fuck could you do this to me, yelled Tsum. I did what I believe I feel is right, explained Kiba. I am not your puppet that just does whatever you tell me to do. You can't believe that letting that son of a bitch into a clan is right? Asked Tsum as she yelled into Kiba's face. That is when Kiba smelled it the first time. I can't take this, said Tsum as she moved toward a pitcher of water on the table. She quickly poured herself a glass of water all the while her back was turned to Kiba. That offspring of my worthless ex-husband is not worthy of being in the clan. Sometimes I wonder if you are, said Kiba as Tsum's eyes widened as she turned and glared at her son. What did you say to me? Demanded Tsum, but before anything else could be said Kiba snapped the glass out of his mother's hand. Give that back, yelled Tsum as Kiba sniffed the water before taking a sip. You laced this with sake, said Kiba. Your point? Asked Tsum. You are an alcoholic, aren't you? Asked Kiba. So what if I am, said Tsum as she sat down and pulled out a large hip flask and took a huge drink. I can still see the truth. No, you see what you want to see, and after years of doing this I am not surprised, said Kiba. So your father told you about my dirty little secret, said Tsum with a smile. Good, then I don't have to hide it anymore. Did you really hit Dad? Asked Kiba. It's the only way to train a dog, said Tsum. There is no way he should have been your father. Minato Namikaze should have been your father. You make me sick, said Kiba. I spent years being mad at you for driving Dad away, but more time hating him for leaving. I should have hated you and thanked him for putting up with you as long as he had. Well, the son of a bitch is dead now, so it doesn't matter, said Tsum. Yes, it does, and personally I don't want to have anything more to deal with you, said Kiba. You can wallow in your pity and your alcohol. Elsewhere by the village gate, Choji was saying goodbye to Ino. I wish you didn't have to go so soon, said Ino as she looked at her husband. Don't worry, Jiraiya and I are only going to meet up with a spy and get some information, said Choji. I will be back within 2 days. Still, said Ino. I am in no danger. We are meeting a spy at a bar and then heading straight home, said Choji. Let me guess, it was Jiraiya's idea to meet in a bar, asked Ino. Yeah, but it's fine, we meet, trade information for some money and then walk out after having a single drink, said Choji. Then why doesn't the old pervert go alone? Asked Ino. Because if I suddenly fall over from a heart attack or something, Choji will know how to find the spies I have all over the world, said Jiraiya. Alright, just be home soon, said Ino as she kissed Choji before he and Jiraiya walked out the door. You know, this is one of my favorite bars, said Jiraiya as he and Choji sat down at the bar. The roadside bar/hotel was all by itself on the road between the Leaf and the Rain Village. They have the best chicken and rice in the Fire Country. I will take your word for it, said Choji as he ordered a glass of water as Jiraiya got a bottle of shake. Ah, what has got you down, my young student? Asked Jiraiya. Do you have any idea what you have done? Asked Choji. I haven't done anything, said Jiraiya. Yeah, when Ino sees the cover of your next book she will kill me, said Choji as he reached into Jiraiya's bag and pulled out his new book. There on the cover was a beautiful woman with long red hair and green eyes showing her bare back to everyone. Apart from her hair and eye clothes, she was a perfect match for Ino. You put my wife in your dirty book. No, I didn't, said Jiraiya as Choji flipped over the book and read the back. Oni, a beautiful popular girl from a powerful clan, is the hottest girl in the village. Her dream guy has joined a gang of thieves, but is her dream boy really what she wants or needs? Or will she find love in unlikely places and in an unlikely person? Read Choji before opening to the last page of the book to show Oni kissing a man who looked a lot like Choji. You pretty much copied our story, you old pervert. No, it is completely different, said Jiraiya as he lifted the bottle of shake to his lips. You put copies of Naruto, Sakura and all my friends in here, stated Choji. You even put yourself to sleep with Tsunade. One can dream, can't he? Said Jiraiya with a grin as he downed another drink. Besides Kakashi, who will admit they read my books. You are totally safe. Safe my ass, said Choji. Let's change the topic. How do you feel about Naruto becoming a dad? Asked Jiraiya as Choji shrugged. I am kind of surprised that they were first, said Choji. First? Asked Jiraiya as he looked at Choji. Wait, are you saying that Ino and you are trying to have a kid? I guess the thought of dying makes us want to start a family, said Choji. So far no luck. Give it time, besides the more time it takes the more sex you can have, said Jiraiya with a grin as Choji shook his head. Back in the leaf a knock came from the door of the Namikaze estate. Coming, said Naruto as he walked toward the door. Slowly he opened it to see Rin Haruno standing there. Rin, what are you doing here? Sakura is having lunch with Ino. Like she does every week, I know, said Rin. I came to talk to you. What about? Asked Naruto. It's about Sakura's pregnancy, said Rin. Wait, I thought you were happy about becoming a grandmother, said Naruto as he remembered hearing stories about mothers going ballistic after finding out they were becoming grandparents. I am, said Rin with a smile. In fact, as soon as I find out the gender of the kids I will start shopping for things. Then what are you here to tell me about? Asked Naruto. Well, I know if my husband was here he would want me to tell you this, said Rin as they sat down at the table. What? Asked Naruto. How should I say this? Said Rin, you know that women get morning sickness when they are pregnant, right? Yeah, I heard that, said Naruto. Well, when I was pregnant with Sakura I had it really bad, along with craving for strange food and pretty much anything else you can think of, said Rin. It was hell on earth for the last month and a half. And you are saying Sakura-chan will go though that? Asked Naruto. Maybe, but it isn't for sure, said Rin. However, my mom went through the same thing and so did my grandmother. I see, said Naruto. I am just warning you that Sakura may not take this well and with twins it will be harder, said Rin before she smiled. However, in the end when you are holding your kids it will be worth it. Anything is worth the moment you hold your kid for the first time. Yeah. I can't wait for that, said Naruto as he smiled. Back at the bar the door to the bar burst opened and a man ran in. Who is that? Asked Jiraiya. Probably just some drunk man, answered Choji. No, that is my spy, answered Jiraiya as he stood up and grabbed the man's shoulder. Calm down, man. Jiraiya, you need to get out of here. He is right behind me, said the man. They are going to let the black flame out. Who is behind you? Asked Choji. Almighty push, said a cold voice from outside as suddenly everything went flying. Back at the Leaf, Ino and Sakura sat at a local restaurant eating lunch. It's so good to actually go back to our normally routine of eating out, said Ino. I am just happy that your clan lifted the ban on Naruto and me from eating and shopping at business owned by your clan, answered Sakura. Well, with Haisher gone, it only took a small amount of convincing to lift the ban, said Ino. However, they still don't totally trust you. Trust takes time, answered Sakura. So are you worried? Asked Ino. About becoming a mother? Yeah, I am worried, but Naruto and I will cross that bridge when it gets closer, said Sakura. Well, you may not be the only one pregnant for long, said Ino as Sakura looked at her best friend. Are you? Asked Sakura. No, not yet, said Ino. However, we are trying. I see, said Sakura before she smiled. Just imagine if our kids grew up together just like we did. That would be fun, said Ino. However, I can't help myself from worrying. About what? Asked Sakura. It's nothing, said Ino with a smile as she went back to her salads. Tell me, ordered Sakura. It's just like you have a family history on your mother's side of having twins. My family has a history of its own and it isn't good, said Ino. What are you talking about? Asked Sakura as Ino looked at the table. Sakura, did I ever tell you I had a brother? Said Ino as Sakura's eyes widened. What? Asked Sakura. When I was 5 years old my mom became pregnant and I was so excited that I was going to be a big sister, said Ino. However, when my sister came, she was dead. Stillborn? Asked Sakura sadly. Yeah, said Ino as she lifted her glass of tea and slowly moved it around. It crushed my parents and they never tried to have another kid. Was there any history of that in your family? Asked Sakura. No, it only happened to my mom, said Ino. You know it is rare to have that happen, said Sakura. But it happened, and since it happened to my mom, it raises the chances it may happen to me, said Ino. By 0.05% at the most, said Sakura. Still it worries me, said Ino. I remember how it affected my parents and I don't want that to happen to Choji and me. In the rubble of the bar, pieces of wood started to move as Choji finally reached the surface. What the fuck just happened? Asked Choji as another pile of rubble moved as Jiraiya reached the surface. Blood ran down his face from a deep cut that came from a flying piece of glass. Choji, it's good to see that you are okay, said Jiraiya as he stood up, the body of the spy lying in a pool of blood beside him. What happened? Asked Choji. Who did this? I did, said a voice as Choji and Jiraiya looked toward the street. There in the street stood a single man with orange hair and a black cloak with red clouds on it. Pain, said Choji as he remembered seeing the supposed leader of the Rain Village before the war when he met with the Kages. Yahiko? Asked Jiraiya, stunned to see the orange hair man. Ah, Jiraiya-sensei, said Pain. Yahiko, is that really you? Asked Jiraiya. You know him? Asked Choji. Former student, but I thought he died years ago in a rainy country, explained Jiraiya. Now Yahiko, where are Nagato and Konan? Konan was the name of the woman who attacked Kakashi, said Choji as he remembered reading the Kakashi report. So Yahiko, where is Nagato? Asked Jiraiya. There were such people as Yahiko, said Pain. There is only Pain. Pain? Asked Jiraiya, confused before he noticed the eyes. They were rippled. The Rinnegan, how could you have that? What is the Rinnegan? Asked Choji. A legendary bloodline trait that my student Nagato has, said Jiraiya. What does it do? Asked Choji. You will find out soon, said Pain as 5 more people appeared, all in black cloaks with red clouds and with orange hair. In attendance, the 6 paths of Pain. Looks like we are going to fight our way out of this, said Jiraiya as he gathered his chapter and entered Sage form. Sage isn't going a little bit overboard? We don't know how strong he is, answered Choji. You have no idea how damaging the Rinnegan is, said Jiraiya. The original wielder created the moon. What? Asked Choji. As much as I would like to talk to you, there is work that needs to be done, said the first Pain as another Pain raised his arm. Suddenly a bunch of rockets came flying out of the man's arms. Choji and Jiraiya jumped out of the way of the missiles before they exploded behind the 2 ninjas. Still as fast as always, Jiraiya-sensei, said Pain as he raised his hand and caused Jiraiya to come flying toward him. I will end this fast. Jiraiya's eyes widened as a metal rod came out of Pain's arm. Jiraiya acted as fast as possible as he bit his thumb before running beforehand signs. Summoning Justu, yelled Jiraiya as Gamabunta appeared at the battle site, stopping Jiraiya from being pulled in. Choji, call out a toad. Summoning Justu, said Choji as a red toad with black stripes. In one hand he had a staff and in a large plate for a shield. Sorry to call you out, Gamaken, but we need your help. I will do my best, but I am clumsy, stated Gamaken. Summoning Justu, said the Pain with a long ponytail as a large puff of smoke filled the air. When the smoke cleared, a large brown dog with dozens of heads attached to its body. Oh crap, said Choji as the other Pains joined the pony-tailed one on top of the dog. Miles away in the leaf, Shikamaru and Temari decided to spend their day playing a game of chess in the garden. It was one of the few days when both of them had the day off. Unlike Naruto, who didn't really have to work apart from being a frontline ninja, Shikamaru and Temari had other jobs. Shikamaru was still learning how to manage the clan businesses and clan relationships with other clans. As a member of the Leaf, Temari wasn't allowed to be the official ambassador from the Sand, however she was that in all but name. Those jobs were on top of their jobs as frontline ninjas and planners. Pawn to knights 3, said Shikamaru as he pushed his pawn forward. How is the finger doing? Asked Temari, and Shikamaru looked at his hand and at the stump that used to be his pinky finger. It's fine, I personally don't even notice. said Shikamaru, which wasn't totally true. More than a few times he noticed he had to grip a glass harder because he didn't have that finger. He was lucky that in 95% of justus the pinky finger wasn't used for hand signs, so at least his ninja career was fine. Ino had told him that he could have a new finger attached, but the idea of having a dead man's finger on his hand just creeped him out. Any idea how we will carry out Naruto's plan to remove the foot soldiers of the Akatsuki? Asked Temari. We will not be able to form any real long-term plans until Choji and Jiraiya come back with more detailed information, answered Shikamaru as he noticed that Temari was just moving her pawn in her hand but wasn't moving in. Temari always has a plan, she never picks up a piece without knowing what she plans to do with it. What is she planning? Wait, that smell, she is in the early stages of heat. I see you are finding out, said Temari's voice inside Shikamaru's mind. Now are you going to go to the bedroom quietly or will I have to drag you in? Either way will be fun for me. Meanwhile, back on the battlefield, Choji went flying backwards into the remains of the building. Blood was running down his arm and he knew that he had at least a rib or two broken. Somehow Jiraiya was in worse shape than Choji. How the hell can we beat this guy? It is like he sees what we are doing constantly, stated Choji. It's like he can see us all the time. Maybe he can, said Jiraiya. They all have the Rinnegan, maybe they see what the other sees? Is that even possible? Asked Choji. So Jiraiya-sensei, you figured out the first secret of pain, said Pain. You will not figure it out anymore. We will just have to take them out one by one, said Jiraiya. And I know which one to start with, said Choji. You will not get close enough to do that, said Pain as suddenly Choji disappeared in a puff of smoke. Jiraiya's eyes widened as he saw Choji appear behind the summer Pain first raised. Body expansion Justu, yelled Choji as his fist grew in size and became covered with chakra. To Choji's amazement, the animal path of Pain simply ducked under the attack. However, the attack did cause one thing to happen. The chakra caused the headband to fall off, showing off a cut across the forehead. It can't be, said Jiraiya as another one of the Pains appeared behind Choji, punching him hard into the ground beside him. What is it? Asked Choji. I fought that man before, years ago, said Jiraiya, but he hasn't aged a day. How is that possible? Asked Choji as Jiraiya's eyes widened again. I get it, they are all dead, said Jiraiya. What? Asked Choji. They are like puppets being controlled by someone else far away. That is the real Pain, and if we get rid of him then we can win, said Jiraiya. Until we find him and get rid of him we can't win. How do we find him? Asked Choji. We can't, not right now at least, we need to fall back with the information, said Jiraiya. You will not leave this place alive, Pain said as a metal rod came out of his arm as he charged toward Choji. There was no time for Choji to move, but there was time for Jiraiya to jump in front of him, taking the attack that was meant for him. Jiraiya, yelled Choji as blood flowed from Jiraiya's chest wound and from his mouth. Choji, run, ordered Jiraiya. I am not leaving you, said Choji as he noticed that Jiraiya was holding onto Pain's arms with both hands. I am dead either way, so get out of here and give the Leaf the information we need to bring this people down, said Jiraiya. Alright, said Choji. And have a good life, said Jiraiya as Choji took off at high speeds toward the Leaf. It will not matter, Jiraiya-sensei, we will get him long before he gets to the Leaf, said Pain. I don't think so, I have one more trick in this old body, said Jiraiya. I know all the jutsus you do, sensei, there is nothing you can do that will surprise me, said Pain. Just watch me, said Jiraiya as he used one of his bloody hands to form a hand sign. Jiraiya just grinned as out of nowhere the ground started to shake. Suddenly mounds of earth shot up, forming a giant circular wall around Jiraiya and the Pains. The wall soon grew up and moved closer together until they formed a dome over them. The roof turned into multiple stone-toad faces. What are you planning? Asked Pain. Just watch, said Jiraiya as oil started to come out of the mouths of all but one of the toads. The Pains looked up to see the center mouth start to glow red. So you plan to cook us all along with yourself, said Pain. Not just cook, See, this oil is special, said Jiraiya as the mouth of the toad grew brighter and brighter. All I have to say is have fun exploding. Miles away in the leaf, Tsunade sat at her desk looking over some paperwork when suddenly the glass of water started to shake before breaking into pieces. Tsunade's heart hurt. What is going on? Thought Tsunade as she turned around and looked out the window. There in the distance there appeared to be a second sun setting. Slowly the giant fireball faded away. That is in the direction that Jiraiya went. Lady Tsunade, we are getting reports of a giant explosion to the west, yelled Shizune as she entered the room. Get Naruto, the demon summoners and our top ANBU team and head to the source at once, ordered Tsunade. Miles away the doom fell to the ground, showing a giant hole where woods used to be. That was actually close, said Pain as a large armadillo opened his mouth to show 5 out of the 6 paths of pain. The burnt remains of the animal path of pain lay beside the remains of Jiraiya. Jiraiya-sensei sacrificed himself for nothing more than killing one of the paths of pain, the one who had to stay outside to summon the protection. Pain, said a new voice as Conan appeared out of some flying paper. Madara wants you back at the village. Very well, said Pain. What about Jiraiya-sensei's body? Asked Conan. Within an hour, Naruto and the other demon summoners arrived just outside. The ANBU team that was following them was unable to keep up. What happened here? Asked Sakura as she looked around the battlefield. Naruto didn't like the idea that Sakura was on the battlefield, but he couldn't stop her right now. A major battle, said Shikamaru as he picked a destroyed kunai off the ground. Any sign of who fought here? Asked Naruto as Hinata scanned the battlefield with her Byakugan. My god, yelled Hinata as she bolted toward a nearby tree. Choji. What? Asked Naruto as everyone ran toward their wounded friend. He was out like a light. More aside, ordered Sakura as she checked his vitals. He is breathing and his heart is strong. He may have some broken ribs and internal injuries. We need to get him back to the leaf now. Is Hinata any sign of Jiraiya? Asked Naruto. Sorry but no, said Hinata. We will keep looking. You get Choji back to the leaf, ordered Shikamaru. Alright, said Naruto as he lifted the injured Choji onto his back before he and Sakura headed back to the leaf. Jiraiya is dead, isn't he? Asked Hinata as she looked out over the battlefield. No one could have lived through this, anyone closer than Choji would have died instantly, stated Shikamaru. Ino rushed through the streets of the village as fast as her legs could take her. She knew the way and all the shortcuts and she took them to reach the hospital. She busted through the front door. Where is Choji? Demanded Ino to the front desk nurse. I am sorry Ino, but after his bones were sealed he insisted on heading to the council meeting to give the information he had gathered to the leaders, said the desk nurse. He was just in a major battle, he shouldn't be moving at all, stated Ino. We tried to tell him that but he refused to listen, and with Sakura at his side, we knew that he would be fine, said the nurse. Alright, but I will be dragging him back here within a couple of minutes, said Ino as she stormed out of the hospital and headed across the street toward the Hokage building. In an emergency council meeting everyone was gathered, even Shikamaru had managed to get back to the leaf for the meeting. Hinata was still out in the field looking for Jiraiya, but it was a pointless search. Choji, I really think you should be in the hospital, said Sakura as she put healing chakra on Choji's ribs. No, Jiraiya-sensei died for this information, I have to give it, said Choji. Alright, let's get this over with, said Tsunade as she was trying to hold herself together over the loss of her longtime teammate and friend. However, people could tell she was barely holding it in. Even Naruto didn't seem to be his normal happy self. Kyuubi and Hachi-Hai will be here shortly, said Naruto as Kyuubi and Hachi-Hai appeared in a puff of smoke. We are sorry to be late, but Lavi had to be brought up to speed on everything, said Hachi-Hai. Do you have information about the Akatsuki? Asked Kyuubi. Yes, said Choji, right before they killed the spy he said they were going to release the black flame. What does that mean? Asked Inoichi. What did you say? Asked Kyuubi as everyone noticed that Hachi-Hai and Kyuubi looked as if they. Black flame, whatever that means, said Choji. Could the humans be that foolish as to let him out? Asked Hatch High as he looked toward the Kyubi. The fear was clear in both their eyes. We have to assume so, said Kyubi. What are you talking about? Asked Tsunade. We are talking about Ru the Black Flame, said Hatch High. Who is he, another demon lord? Asked Choza. You could call him a demon lord, however the closest thing you could call him is a god, said Kyubi. What? Asked Naruto. Why not start at the beginning, said Shikamaru as Hatch High nodded his head. When this world was still forming and before even the formation of the demon kingdoms, two strong immortal spirits did battle, Ru the Black Flame and Kuya the White Flame. They were opposite forces that did consistent battle for control of the new world, said Hatch High. Kuya the Phoenix of Light decided to end the long struggle between Kuya and Ru the Dragon of Death and asked the newly formed demon tribes to help end the struggle. Sort of like how we are asking you to help us, explained Kyubi. The 6 demon tribe leaders worked together with Kuya to seal Ru away in a crystal prison, said Hatch High. It was those 6 demons that were the start of our village and were the first demon lords. Each of those new demons lords and every demon lord after them have the ability to open one part of the lock to Ru's prison, said Kyubi. So if the Akatsuki let gets all the demon lords, they could open the prison and let him out? Asked Inoichi. They don't need to get them all. If they lower the seal to a certain point, the prison wall will come crashing down and he will be released upon the world and there will be nothing anyone can do, said Kyubi. The human world and the demon world will be consumed within the fires. Where is he imprisoned? Asked Niji. Maybe we can guard it. He is imprisoned inside the moon, stated Hatch High, making him impossible to guard. Wait, I thought that was the prison of the 10-tailed beasts that the original sage of the 6 paths sealed away inside the moon, said Tsunade. You will not get close enough to do that, said Pain as suddenly Choji disappeared in a puff of smoke. Jiraiya's eyes widened as he saw Choji appear behind the summer Pain first raised. Body expansion Justu, yelled Choji as his fist grew in size and became covered with chakra. To Choji's amazement, the animal path of Pain simply ducked under the attack. However, the attack did cause one thing to happen: the chakra caused the headband to fall off, showing off a cut across the forehead. It can't be, said Jiraiya as another one of the Pains appeared behind Choji, punching him hard into the ground beside him. What is it? Asked Choji. I fought that man before, years ago, said Jiraiya, but he hasn't aged a day. How is that possible? Asked Choji as Jiraiya's eyes widened again. I get it, they are all dead, said Jiraiya. What? Asked Choji. They are like puppets being controlled by someone else far away. That is the real Pain, and if we get rid of him then we can win, said Jiraiya. Until we find him and get rid of him we can't win. How do we find him? Asked Choji. We can't, not right now at least. We need to fall back with the information, said Jiraiya. You will not leave this place alive, Pain said as a metal rod came out of his arm as he charged toward Choji. There was no time for Choji to move, but there was time for Jiraiya to jump in front of him, taking the attack that was met for him. Jiraiya, yelled Choji as blood flowed from Jiraiya's chest wound and from his mouth. Choji, run, ordered Jiraiya. I am not leaving you, said Choji as he noticed that Jiraiya was holding onto Pain's arms with both hands. I am dead either way, so get out of here and give the Leaf the information we need to bring this people down, said Jiraiya. Alright, said Choji. And have a good life, said Jiraiya as Choji took off at high speeds toward the Leaf. It will not matter, Jiraiya-sensei, we will get him long before he gets to the Leaf, said Pain. I don't think so. I have one more trick in this old body, said Jiraiya. I know all the jutsus you do, sensei, there is nothing you can do that will surprise me, said Pain. Just watch me, said Jiraiya as he used one of his bloody hands to form a hand sign. Jiraiya just grinned as out of nowhere the ground started to shake. Suddenly mounds of earth shot up, forming a giant circular wall around Jiraiya and the Pains. The wall soon grew up and moved closer together until they formed a dome over them. The roof turned into multiple stone-toad faces. What are you planning? Asked Pain. Just watch, said Jiraiya as oil started to come out of the mouths of all but one of the toads. The Pains looked up to see the center mouth start to glow red. So you plan to cook us all along with yourself, said Pain. Not just cook. See, this oil is special, said Jiraiya as the mouth of the toad grew brighter and brighter. All I have to say is have fun exploding. Miles away in the leaf, Tsunade sat at her desk looking over some paperwork when suddenly the glass of water started to shake before breaking into pieces. Tsunade's heart hurt. What is going on? Thought Tsunade as she turned around and looked out the window. There in the distance there appeared to be a second sun setting. Slowly the giant fireball faded away. That is in the direction that Jiraiya went. Lady Tsunade, we are getting reports of a giant explosion to the west, yelled Shizune as she entered the room. Get Naruto, the demon summoners and our top ANBU team and head to the source at once, ordered Tsunade. Miles away the doom fell to the ground, showing a giant hole where woods used to be. That was actually close, said Pain as a large armadillo opened his mouth to show 5 out of the 6 paths of pain. The burnt remains of the animal path of pain lay beside the remains of Jiraiya. Jiraiya-sensei sacrificed himself for nothing more than killing one of the paths of pain, the one who had to stay outside to summon the protection. Pain, said a new voice as Conan appeared out of some flying paper. Madara wants you back at the village. Very well, said Pain. What about Jiraiya-sensei's body? Asked Conan. Within an hour, Naruto and the other demon summoners arrived just outside. The ANBU team that was following them was unable to keep up. What happened here? Asked Sakura as she looked around the battlefield. Naruto didn't like the idea that Sakura was on the battlefield, but he couldn't stop her right now. A major battle, said Shikamaru as he picked a destroyed kunai off the ground. Any sign of who fought here? Asked Naruto as Hinata scanned the battlefield with her Byakugan. My god, yelled Hinata as she bolted toward a nearby tree. Choji. What? Asked Naruto as everyone ran toward their wounded friend. He was out like a light. More aside, ordered Sakura as she checked his vitals. He is breathing and his heart is strong. He may have some broken ribs and internal injuries. We need to get him back to the leaf now. Is Hinata any sign of Jiraiya? Asked Naruto. Sorry but no, said Hinata. We will keep looking. You get Choji back to the leaf, ordered Shikamaru. Alright, said Naruto as he lifted the injured Choji onto his back before he and Sakura headed back to the leaf. Jiraiya is dead, isn't he? Asked Hinata as she looked out over the battlefield. No one could have lived through this, anyone closer than Choji would have died instantly, stated Shikamaru. Ino rushed through the streets of the village as fast as her legs could take her. She knew the way and all the shortcuts and she took them to reach the hospital. She busted through the front door. Where is Choji? Demanded Ino to the front desk nurse. I am sorry Ino, but after his bones were sealed he insisted on heading to the council meeting to give the information he had gathered to the leaders, said the desk nurse. He was just in a major battle, he shouldn't be moving at all, stated Ino. We tried to tell him that but he refused to listen, and with Sakura at his side, we knew that he would be fine, said the nurse. Alright, but I will be dragging him back here within a couple of minutes, said Ino as she stormed out of the hospital and headed across the street toward the Hokage building. In an emergency council meeting everyone was gathered, even Shikamaru had managed to get back to the leaf for the meeting. Hinata was still out in the field looking for Jiraiya, but it was a pointless search. Choji, I really think you should be in the hospital, said Sakura as she put healing chakra on Choji's ribs. No, Jiraiya-sensei died. For this information I have to give it, said Choji. Alright, let's get this over with, said Tsunade as she was trying to hold herself together over the loss of her longtime teammate and friend. However, people could tell she was barely holding it in. Even Naruto didn't seem to be his normal happy self. Kyuubi and Hachi will be here shortly, said Naruto as Kyuubi and Hachi appeared in a puff of smoke. We are sorry to be late, but Lavi had to be brought up to speed on everything, said Hachi. Do you have information about the Akatsuki? Asked Kyuubi. Yes, said Choji, right before they killed the spy he said they were going to release the Black Flame. What does that mean? Asked Inoichi. What did you say? Asked Kyubi as everyone noticed that Hatch-Hai and Kyubi looked as if they. Black flame, whatever that means, said Choji. Could the humans be that foolish as to let him out? Asked Hatch-Hai as he looked toward the Kyubi. The fear was clear in both their eyes. We have to assume so, said Kyubi. What are you talking about? Asked Tsunade. We are talking about Ru the Black Flame, said Hatch-Hai. Who is he, another demon lord? Asked Choza. You could call him a demon lord, however the closest thing you could call him is a god, said Kyubi. What? Asked Naruto. Why not start at the beginning, said Shikamaru as Hatch-Hai nodded his head. When this world was still forming and before even the formation of the demon kingdoms, two strong immortal spirits did battle, Ru the Black Flame and Kuya the White Flame. They were opposite forces that did consistent battle for control of the new world, said Hatch-Hai. Kuya the Phoenix of Light decided to end the long struggle between Kuya and Ru the Dragon of Death and asked the newly formed demon tribes to help end the struggle. Sort of like how we are asking you to help us, explained Kyubi. The 6 demon tribe leaders worked together with Kuya to seal Ru away in a crystal prison, said Hatch-Hai. It was those 6 demons that were the start of our village and were the first demon lords. Each of those new demons lords and every demon lord after them have the ability to open one part of the lock to Ru's prison, said Kyubi. So if the Akatsuki let gets all the demon lords, they could open the prison and let him out? Asked Inoichi. They don't need to get them all. If they lower the seal to a certain point, the prison wall will come crashing down and he will be released upon the world and there will be nothing one can do, said Kyubi. The human world and the demon world will be consumed within the fires. Where is he imprisoned? Asked Niji. Maybe we can guard it. He is imprisoned inside the moon, stated Hatch-Hai, making him impossible to guard. Wait, I thought that was the prison of the 10-tailed beasts that the original sage of the 6 paths sealed away inside the moon, said Tsunade. I am afraid your legends are wrong, said Hatch-Hai. According to your legends, the tailed beast came from the breaking up of the 10 tails, but that isn't true. It was the demons that sealed him away. The sage, fearing that Ru may be opened up by some idiot human, covered the prison in stone with the hopes that his memories would fade from human history and no one would try to open the prison. So under the surface of the moon is where this Ru is? Asked Tsunade. Yes, answered Kyubi. Where is this Kuya? Asked Naruto. After Ru was sealed away, Kuya, fearing that she may cause harm to the world without Ru to check her, so she sealed herself away, said Kyubi. Where did she seal herself at? Asked Shikamaru. The sun, answered Hatch-Hai. She created the sun? Asked Inoichi. No, the sun already was there, she just sealed herself inside it, said Hatch-Hai. After the demon worked together to seal Ru away, we turned against each other and the alliances you see now came to be, said Kyubi. What will happen if the Akatsuki let him loose? Asked Tsunade. The forests will burn to ash and glass, the seas will boil and turn to fields of lava, and the sky will be red with flames and black with smoke. Nothing living will be left standing, said Kyubi. Why would the Akatsuki let him lose? Asked Inoichi. The only answer I can think of is that they think they can seal him away and control him, said Hatch-Hai. Can't you and the other demons work together to make sure he stays sealed? Asked Choza as his son held his side. Seamus, the Lord of Demon Snakes, would consider it a victory if all the demon foxes die a few minutes before the last demon snakes, said Kyubi. There is something else I have to tell, said Choji as suddenly the doors to the council room burst open and a very pissed off Ino stormed in. Choji Akimichi, yelled Ino as she stormed toward her husband. What the fuck are you thinking? You were in a major battle and you need to be resting. Ino, said her father, only to get a glare from his daughter. Not now, Dad, snapped Ino before looking back to her husband. You need to be in the hospital. I have Sakura just in case something happens, said Choji. Forehead isn't God, you need to be in a hospital where I can look after you, snapped Ino. Why did you do this? My master died so that I could get away. I have to give this information right away, said Choji. You would do the same if it was Tsunade. I guess, so give your information and then I will drag you to the hospital, ordered Ino. Alright, before Jiraiya was killed we ran into pain, said Choji. The leader of the Rain Village? Asked Inoichi. Yeah, but Jiraiya called him Yahiko, said Choji. That brings back memories, said Tsunade. After a major battle during the last war, Orochimaru, Jiraiya and myself were walking back from the battle where we got the name Sannin. 3 orphans were following us. Orochimaru wanted to kill them, but instead Jiraiya stayed behind and trained them. It seems that those little kids are now a big threat. It gets worse, they have some sort of bloodline ability called the Rinnegan, said Choji. What? Asked Kiba. I heard stories about that bloodline ability, but isn't it a legend? No, it isn't, said Kyubi. It is a very dangerous bloodline ability. How dangerous? Asked Shikamaru. Almost equal to a demon sage, answered Kyubi. That dangerous? Asked Sakura. The wrong move would mean death, said Kyubi. There is more, said Choji as he grabbed his side in pain. That is enough for you to get to the hospital, ordered Ino. It's alright Choji, said Tsunade, you gave us enough information to chew on for a bit. We all meet once you are well again. Alright, said Choji as Ino pulled him to his feet and led him out of the council room. Now, I know we have a lot to discuss, but I really need to end this meeting, said Tsunade. Very well, we could all use some time to decompress after learning all this new information, said Inoichi. Thank you, said Tsunade as she sat up and left the room and headed toward her office and a waiting bottle of shake. She walked into her office, locking the door behind her. She didn't want anyone else to see this. She slowly walked over to her desk and reached into her bottom drawer and poured out her largest and strongest bottle of shake. She didn't even bother getting a glass, she drank it straight from the bottle. As she drank the shake, she hoped it would drown her sadness, but it only seemed to worsen it. She looked toward the photo of her old Genin team. It was a pose that was commonplace for everyone. A young Jiraiya was in the middle, with her on the right looking at the hyperactive young kid with hate. The left side of the photo was folded over to hide the image of Orochimaru. I was such an idiot when I was a kid, thought Tsunade as she looked toward the next photo taken at Naruto's and Sakura's wedding a few years ago. Jiraiya was actually dressed in a suit and tie while she was dressed in a blue dress. They looked like a happily married couple attending their kid's wedding. Could there have been something there, but I was too blind to see? That just made Tsunade feel worse as she drank some more of the shake. Back in the council room, everyone was heading their own way. Sakura was surprised when Naruto actually stayed behind. He was known to rush out of the council room to talk to Neji. What is Naruto up to? Thought Sakura as she walked over to her husband. Do you think you can do this? Asked Neji as he looked at Naruto. Yes, but it will take time to do this, said Naruto as he held a piece of paper in his hands. Sakura looked over the paper and noticed that they were detailed designs for a seal of some kind. Please, my clan doesn't have time, said Neji. What is going on? Asked Sakura. Your husband is helping my clan with a major problem, said Neji. What problem? Asked Sakura. Removing the bird cage seal, answered Naruto. It is stopping my clan from passing on the Byakugan to the next generation, said Neji. Some members have stopped trying to have kids until the problem is fixed. You can break the seal? Asked Sakura. With the blueprints for the seal it is easy, it is just trying to solve the other problems that is hard, said Naruto as Sakura looked into her husband's eyes. She knew he was trying his best not to focus on the loss of Jiraiya. The problem is that the DNA that makes up the Byakugan doesn't react well with certain other bloodline traits. If you mix the wrong bloodlines, any kids would have major birth defects. I just don't. Then don't fix it, answered Sakura as the two men looked at her. It isn't uncommon for people before they have children to have a blood test done to make sure their kids are not at risk of birth defects. Why not just let them have blood tests before they get married? It's up to Neji. If they want to do it that way, I can have instructions for breaking the seal done within a day or two, said Naruto. Let me talk it over with my council members, said Neji. Across town, Kiba sat in his backyard just looking out at his younger brother feeding the dogs in the neighboring clan kennel. Hinata was still out looking for Jiraiya's remains so that they could be laid to rest. That meant he and his brother was alone. his sister had offered to take him in, but after talking it over he had moved into the large downstairs finished basement of the main house. It was large enough to give him space but still be part of his new family. "Why do I have to do this?" asked Kale as he moved a heavy bag of dog food toward the pens. "Every member of the clan takes turns with the care of our clan's dogs," explained Kiba as he stood up and walked toward his brother, grabbing the other side of the bag of food. "In fact, I think it is time we get you a dog." "Really?" asked Kale. "Yeah," said Kiba as they headed toward the older dogs. "Now normally we would start with a young pup and let you two grow up together, but since you are older we will go with an older dog." When they reached the large cage, the dogs jumped to their feet and started to bark as they waited for their food. "Don't worry, lunch is here," said Kiba as they opened the door. "How will I be able to understand them? I don't understand dogs," said Kale. "It takes time to learn, but in time you will learn," said Kiba. "Now go out there and pick your dog." "But how will I know when I picked the right one?" asked Kale. "You will just know," answered Kiba as he watched Kale enter the kennel. He looked around the mass of dogs all heading toward their food bowls. Finally he noticed a single dog in the corner. She had jet black fur all over her body, only the tip of her tail was white. She seemed strong but yet unsure of herself in the new surroundings. "Her name is Mai." "Mai?" asked Kale. "Yeah, in a way she is like you," said Kiba. "See, her mother and father along with her brother died in the battle against the demons beside their partners. She is all alone in a strange place among strange people. She is like me, I lost everyone I know," thought Kale as she reached his hand out toward the young dog. At first the dog only looked at him before slowly standing up and placing her head against his hand. "Looks like you found your dog," said Kiba. Across town in the Namikaze's main house, Naruto sat in a reclining chair in the living room. Before sat a photo of Jiraiya. A bottle of beer sat unopened on the coffee table beside the photo. "Naruto, how are you doing?" asked Sakura as she sat down beside her husband. "I am not sure how to feel," said Naruto. "I mean, I can't believe he is gone, but it doesn't hurt as much as I thought it would. I mean, if I hadn't made the deal with Kyubi he would have been my sensei." "Maybe that is why you aren't as sad," said Sakura. "He was a good friend and mentor, but he wasn't your sensei. You didn't spend years training with him like Choji did, and you didn't grow up with him like Tsunade did. He was like an uncle instead of a father figure. I can't imagine what Choji and Tsunade are dealing with," said Naruto as he looked at the bottle of beer. Slowly he picked up the bottle of beer but didn't open it. "You know, I have drank more alcohol in the past few days than I have ever had in my life." "I think everyone has," said Sakura. "I know if I could I would join you in a drink at Jiraiya. It would be the perfect way to honor that pervert." "Well," said Naruto as he opened the bottle of beer, "here to you, Jiraiya." Sakura groaned as she looked at the clock that read just after 3 in the morning. Sakura didn't want to move, but the need for a bathroom overruled her desire to sleep in. Slowly and gently she stood up and headed toward the bathroom. After taking care of business she returned to bed. She lied on her side like she almost always did, however normally when she would sleep facing her husband. However, since she was only a week away from her due date, she slept with her back to her husband and a pillow under her stomach. Naruto moved ever closer to his wife and unborn kids. Even in his sleep he naturally wanted to protect them. He placed one hand around Sakura just below her breasts and another on her stomach. "You know, I really should thank you, Naruto," said Sakura to her sleeping husband. "You have dealt with a lot of shit during this." Flashback a month into the pregnancy. "This sucks," said Sakura as she threw up again into the toilet. Almost every morning started with a trip to the bathroom to throw up whatever was left over in her stomach from the night before. "I guess the idea that demon healing chakra may help you with this was wrong," said Naruto as he held his wife's slightly longer hair back. Her hair, which normally stopped around her shoulders, now reached her shoulder blades. "Yeah, we were wrong about that one," said Sakura as she threw up again as her husband rubbed her back. End flashback. The morning sickness was pretty much never ending. Each morning she had to deal with it. It didn't pass until almost 3 months into the ordeal. However, by then the carving for food that she normally didn't like to eat. In some ways it was funny. Flashback 3 months in. Sakura, I am back, said Naruto as he walked through the doors of the house. Since the war was still going on, the demon summoners had taken a turn on the front line. For a week Naruto had been gone. I am here, answered Sakura as Naruto walked into the kitchen to see Sakura sitting at the table with 2 large bowls of food in front of her. Is that Ramon? Asked Naruto. Yeah, said Sakura. But you don't really care for that, said Naruto, the only reason why you eat is because I like it. Blame our kids, said Sakura as she took a large bite of food. I have been craving it. I have a feeling my love of ramen noodles is genetic, laughed Naruto as he went to take some. Only to have Sakura pull it away. Get your own, said Sakura as Naruto walked toward the oven and got himself some. He sat down across from his wife and took a bite. His eyes began to water as he put his fork down. Wow, that is hot. What did you put in that? Asked Naruto. Some jalapeno peppers and a lot of hot sauce, answered Sakura as she took another bite. Wow, your mom wasn't wrong when she said your taste buds would shift, said Naruto as he noticed that the second bowl in front of his wife was full of ice cream. End flashback. I think this is the only time in a woman's life when she is okay with gaining weight, said Sakura as she put her hand on her stomach. However, among the craziness of pregnancy there were a lot of golden moments. Flashback 2.5 months in. Naruto stood beside his wife who sat on the table. Alright, are you two ready to see your kids? Asked Ino as she got the ultrasound machine ready. Yeah, said Sakura as Ino started the machine. Instantly Naruto and Sakura turned to look at the screen as the blurry image of 2 babies appeared, their kids. Wow, said Naruto as he looked at the small figures. Well, they look about the right size for their age, said Ino as she studied the screen. If you want to know, I can tell you what sex your kids are likely to be. Naruto and Sakura looked at each other before nodding their heads. Alright, tell us, said Naruto. Looks like you are having one of each, said Ino, 1 boy and a girl. End flashback. That meant they could start preparing 2 separate nursery rooms for their kids. They had decided to move the main crib into their room at first so that they could take care of it during the night. Next came the process of picking names and godparents. Flashback 6 months into the pregnancy. So you want me to be the godmother to the little girl? Asked Ino as she sat in the Namikaze's living room. Sakura sat on the couch with her feet up on the coffee table, her hand on her growing stomach. Yeah. Naruto is asking Shikamaru to be the godfather to the girl and Choji to be the boy. SSID Sakura, Hinata will be the godmother to the boy. Wouldn't it be easier for Choji to be the godfather to the girl instead of Shikamaru? He is my husband, asked Ino, and when in the world will you tell me the names you and Naruto picked out? Sorry, said Sakura with a grin, but the only people who know the names are Naruto, my mother and myself. As for the godparent thing, it is a tradition for my clan that the godparents not be husband and wife. But weren't Naruto's parents your godparents? Asked Ino. My parents didn't know about that, explained Sakura. I see, said Ino as she drank some water. Well, when mine and Choji's kid is born you can be the godmother. Sakura's eyes widened as she looked at her grinning friend. You are? Asked Sakura. Yep, I am not that far behind your forehead, said Ino with a grin. End flashback. Ino and Choji are having a daughter, thought Sakura as she remembered what she had learned only a few days ago. Imagine if our daughter becomes best friends with Ino's daughter, said inner Sakura, they would be just like Piggy and us when we were kids. If they get along as well as their mothers did as kids, it will be a rough but good friendship, added Sakura as suddenly one of the 2 babies within her kicked. Sakura laughed a bit. She knew she couldn't tell which one it was that kicked her, but she always liked to think it was the boy. You are your father's son, laughed Sakura as she placed her hand on her stomach. Flashback -7.5 months. I am telling you, Mom. He is driving me up the wall, answered Sakura as she sat with her mother on the patio. It was Naruto's last turn for frontline alert before their babies are born. Naruto had asked Rin to stay with Sakura during the week he was gone. He is not letting me do anything. What are you talking about? Asked Rin. I mean, he makes all the meals and does all the choirs. If I try to even pick up a load of laundry he freaks out, said Sakura. All I am doing is sitting around and reading. Sounds like the first time father symptoms. Answered Rin. What? Asked Sakura. It is something my mother told me about your father when I was pregnant, said Rin. Basically Naruto, like most new fathers, feels they have to do everything possible to protect his wife and his unborn kids. Think about it this way, what were the 4 things Naruto always wanted? To be married to me, to have the village accept him and to become the Hokage, answered Sakura before stopping and looking at her stomach, and to have a family. Does that answer the question about why he is acting that way? Asked Rin. You are carrying his family. Something he always wanted, and no matter how powerful he became he could never get alone. I think I understand, said Sakura. End flashback. Sakura slowly began to close her eyes again when she suddenly felt a slight pain in her belly. Naruto, said Sakura. When she got no answer she elbowed him in the gut. Naruto. What is it? Asked the still half-asleep Naruto. My water just broke. Answered Sakura as suddenly Naruto's eyes became as wide as dinner plates as he sat up in bed. Are you sure? Asked Naruto. Yeah, I am sure, answered Sakura as she sat up in bed. Now don't panic, grab what we planned and let's head to the hospital. Alright, said Naruto as he followed his wife's lead. Less than half an hour later, the sun wasn't up yet over the leaf as Rin Haruno came running through the front doors of the hospital. Sakura Namikaze, asked Rin to the nurse at the front desk as she looked over some paperwork. She is in labor, go to waiting room on the 2nd floor, answered the nurse as Rin went up the stairs to the 2nd floor. What she found there was most of her daughter and son-in-law's friends. How did you all get here before me? Asked Rin. We are ninjas, answered Shikamaru with a yawn as he returned with some coffee he had taken from the nurse's lobby. We tend to move faster than normal people. Does anyone know what is going on? Asked Rin. From our understanding everything is going fine, said Choji. Sakura has Tsunade, Shizune and Ino helping her. Naruto is holding her hand. 3 of the 4 best medical minds in the world, said Rin as a scream filled the air, and it wasn't a woman's scream. By the way, Sakura is breaking Naruto's hand with her superhuman strength, added Temari as another scream filled the air. For over 2 hours everyone just sat around waiting. Just after sunrise Ino, Tsunade and Shizune entered the room. How are they doing? Asked Rin. Mother and the twins are doing great, said Ino with a smile. Can we see them? Asked Rin. Give the new family some alone time, said Tsunade. A few doors down, a very tired Sakura lay in bed with Naruto sitting on the bed beside her. Tsunade had quickly healed the broken fingers done by his wife while she was in labor. The sun was just coming through the window. They look so beautiful, said Naruto as he sat on his wife's bed just looking at their son and daughter. Both wrapped in their own blankets. He was stunned by how small they both were and how much they both looked like Sakura. They were only minutes old and already he loved them more than anything. He would do anything to make the world better for them. Yeah, they are beautiful, said Sakura as she held her daughter in her arms. The newborns were both asleep. For how long that lasted she didn't know, however what she did know was that she loved her daughter and her son and that they looked like Naruto. She just wanted to sleep after going through what she went through, but she didn't want to sleep, she just wanted to hold her kids. Eri Kushina Namikaze, said Sakura as her daughter moved a bit in her pink blanket. Riki Minato Namikaze, said Naruto as his son slept peacefully. How are they? Asked a new voice as the new parents looked up to see the Kyuubi standing there. They are absolutely perfect, said Naruto as the Kyuubi walked around to get a better look at the new pups. Congratulations you too, said Kyuubi. Thanks, said Sakura. I thought you would be at the base just in case they attack, asked Naruto, making sure not to take his eyes off his son. That is why I can't stay long, but I come to bring gifts for all of you, said Kyuubi as a scroll appeared out of nowhere. He opened the scroll to show 4 necklaces, each one had a silver fox on, 2 were female foxes while 2 were males. Now they may be still a little too small for them, but in time they will be old enough. What are they? Asked Naruto as he picked up one of the male ones. To his amazement, the silver metal turned golden blonde with blue crystal eyes. What was that? It is the rarest mineral in the demon world. It absorbs just a little bit of the owner's chakra. It takes on the form of the owner's hair and eye color, said Kyuubi as Naruto took it off, but it remained as it was, makes it totally unique to the owner. Put it on them. Naruto and Sakura looked at each other before slowly putting them on their kid's chest. To their amazement, Arias turned blonde with blue-eyed crystals while Ricky turned red with deep green crystals. Sakura picked hers up as it became pink with deep green crystals for eyes. Thank you for this, said Sakura. There is one more thing, said Kyuubi as he looked at Naruto. On the back of each of them I placed one of your marks for you, Thunder God Justu. Now no matter where they are you can be at their side in an instant. That may calm him down for a little bit, laughed Sakura. Now I must get going. Congratulations on your pups and have fun with them, said Kyuubi with a grin as he disappeared in a puff of smoke. The moment he left, a knocking sound came from the door. Come on in, answered Sakura as her mom entered. Hello, can I see my grandkids now? Asked Rin. Yeah, said Sakura as her mother walked over and looked at the sleeping Avi. She is so beautiful, said Rin. Can I hold her? Please, I need some sleep, answered Sakura as Rin picked up Avi, who cried a little before calming down. Now let's go see your big brother. He is only older by a few minutes, answered Naruto as Rin walked around to look at the sleeping Ricky. Believe me, when they are older that will matter, answered Rin as she noticed the necklace that lay on the newborn's chest. What are the necklaces for? Kyuubi gave them to us, answered Naruto as he showed his. They are made from some rare mineral and have my mark on the back so I can transport to their side anywhere. But why is Ricky's different than yours and this little angle? Asked Rin. It takes on the property of the owner, answered Sakura as Rin noticed a pink vixen won by Sakura. Ricky's is red because his hair is supposed to turn out like that. Red just like your grandfather Kane, laughed Rin as she put one finder on her grandson's chest. And his grandmother Kushina, answered Naruto as another knock came from the door. Can we come in now? Asked Temari. Come on in, answered Naruto as all their friends entered to see the new lives that had joined the Leaf. Sakura stayed in the hospital for a few days making sure she and their kids were fine. Finally it was time to take the two kids home. Welcome home Eri and Ricky, said Naruto to the sleeping children. Let's put them down for a nap, said Sakura as the two of them walked back toward their bedroom. There at the foot of the bed was the Namake's family crib. Slowly they put the two sleeping kids onto the bed. For a while the two new parents just stood there looking down at the 3-day-old kids. Already bright blonde hair could be seen on Eri's head while bright red hair appeared on Ricky's head. They look like you, said Sakura. Really, I think they look like you, laughed Naruto as he lowered his hand down and placed his finger inside his son's hand. Almost instantly Ricky closed his hand and wrapped up his father's finger. He does have a strong grip. Father and son, how beautiful, thought Sakura with a smile as she looked toward the sleeping Eri. Slowly Naruto walked over and placed his finger in his daughter's hand. Once again she wrapped up her father's finger. And little Eri has just as strong a grip. She must get her strength from you, Sakura-chan, laughed Naruto. A father and his little girl, just as beautiful, added inner Sakura. Did you forget that Eri was born 7 minutes ahead of her brother, laughed Sakura. Somehow I don't think that matters to Naruto, added inner Sakura. I think it is time we add these, said Naruto as he pulled out 2 small metal plates. Eri Kushina Namake's daughter of Naruto Altair Namake's and Sakura Anina Namake's and Ricky Minato Namake's son of Naruto Altair Namake's and Sakura Anina Namake's, read Sakura out loud. Under both of the names was the date, May 7th. Sakura watched as Naruto placed the name plates on the crib just above Naruto's own name. Just when Naruto finished putting the names on, Ricky started crying with her brother crying. Eri joined in. The two new parents looked at each other before moving to their kid's side. Now the fun begins, said Naruto as he picked up Eri, trying to calm her down, but it wasn't working that well. Yeah. Sakura said she picked up Ricky only to feel that his diaper was wet. Hours later across town in a small food stand Rin Haruno and Lis Yamenka sat eating supper together. Lis' husband was off on a normal C-ranked caravan guarding mission to the Mist Country. Just because a war was on doesn't mean that there weren't missions that needed to get done. You know Rin, I am surprised you are not helping your daughter and son-in-law with their new kids, said Lis as Rin grinned a bit. Lis, do you remember the first night you had Ino home? Asked Rin. Yeah, Inoichi and I didn't get any sleep that night but I learned so much, said Lis. Same with Sakura, said Rin. The first night is always the worst and it is something all new parents have to go through by themselves. Then their grandmas can come in and save the day. Said Lis. Well, you have to wait until October to become a grandmother, said Rin as Lis grinned a bit. November 12th is her due date. You know, when I was younger I always feared about becoming a grandmother, said Lis. Being a grandmother is a sign of being old, but now I can't wait to hold my granddaughter in my arms. Has Ino and Choji picked out a name yet? Asked Rin. You know my daughter, she changes her mind every other week, said Lis. Mother like daughter, said Rin with a laugh as Lis growled at her friend. Well, don't tell Ino that I told you, but the front runner is Fiorella, said Lis. Wasn't Fiorella your grandmother's name, the one who made the best cookies I have ever had? Asked Rin with a smile as she remembered going to Lis' grandmother's house as a kid with her friend. That is why I think this one may stay, but Choji's great-grandmother named a choice too, said Lis before she rolled her eyes. However, the name Bellurin doesn't seem to feel right to Ino, Choji, or me. Then how is it being considered? Asked Rin. Think about it, asked Lis. Choza, answered Rin. Yep, said Lis. I wonder how tired Sakura and Naruto are right now, asked Rin. Across town Naruto and Sakura lied in bed, however it was out of pure exhaustion. Both their clothes were still on as they just looked up at the ceiling, too afraid to close their eyes. They had no time to rest, they hadn't even taken a shower. I have never been this tired, said Naruto. Not even during Kyuubi's training did I feel like this. Yeah, but look, they are both finally asleep, said Sakura as she sat up in bed and looked toward the sleeping kids. Yes, I tried using shadow clones to rock them to sleep to give you a break, but they seem to know when it is a clone and not me, said Naruto. It's kind of funny that even highly trained ninjas can't tell the difference between the real me and a shadow clone, but they can. You're their father. They heard your voice when they were with me, answered Sakura. Maybe that is why they can tell the difference. Besides, you shouldn't use shadow clones. You needed a break, answered Naruto as Sakura laid down her head resting on Naruto's chest. She could hear his heartbeat through his thin black shirt. We both need a break, said Sakura. However, once we get through this rough part it will be better. I would just like them to sleep longer than half an hour, answered Naruto. Give it time, said Sakura. In the meantime, we will get whatever sleep we can whenever we can. Yeah, said Naruto as he closed his eyes and snuggled next to his wife. However, in what felt like a second later, Ricky started crying. Moments later his sister joined him. Across the world in the former rock village turned frontline base for the snakes, sharks, and remains of the scorpion, Sasuke Uchiha sat looking over reports. Ever since the war settled down into a waiting game, he had been bored out of his mind. His almost 2-year-old son Fugaku sat up in a crib looking at his daddy. The boy looked almost like a clone of Sasuke at that age. The only thing different was the red hair he got from his mother. The boy didn't cry. He had learned his cries would be met with no attention from his father. Whenever he needed something, one of the snake nurses would come and see to his needs. Sasuke was looking over reports coming in from different spies set up all over the world. He read reports about how the enemy was building its base on a large plateau near the border of Earth and Fire Country. That base was between him and his goal of killing Naruto and the Leaf. Suddenly a small scorpion, no larger than any normal scorpion a person would see in the woods, came scurrying up the desk. What is it? Asked Sasuke to the scorpion. Sir, a news update from the spies in the sand, said the scorpion. Like I care about what happens in the sand, it will burn into glass when I am done, said Sasuke. Yes, sir. However, after months of trying we finally broke into the records of the Kazekage without notice, said the scorpion, we found news about the demon summoners of the foxes, Naruto and Sakura Namikaze. The name of the two people he wanted to kill the most got his attention. Speak, ordered Sasuke. The rumors have been confirmed that Sakura Namikaze is pregnant and has already given birth to twins, a boy and a girl, reported the scorpion spy. I see, said Sasuke with a grin. This may be the perfect time to pay them a little visit, however, this has to be well planned and well supplied. A strike behind their lines at their home base would scare those weak villagers and maybe force them out of the fight. Elsewhere another force was planning its next move. A large fire filled the room, however the burning flame was contained with a large fire pit. In the room on other sides of the fire sat two very different men. Is it done, Pain? Asked Madara Uchiha as he sat in his chair around his two pointer fingers with two glowing rings, one with the word lion written into the stone and the other with a scorpion. Nearly, it is taking longer than originally planned to carry out the process, stated Pain. The new path will be ready within a week. Good, once it is ready you will go to the Leaf Village, said Madara as Pain looked at the leader of the Akashi. You seem surprised, Pain. We are the weaker of the attack force. To attack now would leave us open to being attacked by the other demons, stated Pain. We cannot carry out our goals if we are destroyed by the enemy. It is strange that I can see the world so much clearer than you, said Madara. At the moment the two demon armies are circling each other like two animals looking for an opening to kill the other. We need to create that opening, draw the blood that will cause the other group to attack. We strike at the leaf and the demon summoners, the other demons will take the shoot and attack them. It doesn't matter who wins because in the end it will be enough to carry out my plan for this world. Who will all go in this attack? Asked Pain. Everyone, answered Madara. It was all round lunchtime when Rin Haruno arrived at the Namikaze main house. It didn't take long for Sakura to open the door and let her mother in. So did you have a good night? Asked Rin to her tired-looking daughter. Her hair was pulled back into a ponytail, she held her daughter in her hands. As well as can be expected, said Sakura as she let her mom in. Where is Naruto? Asked Rin. Couch, answered Sakura as Rin walked over to the couch to see Naruto passed out on the couch with Riki sleeping on his chest, his head resting over Naruto's heart. The only way Riki will sleep for longer than 30 minutes is if he is with one of us. A baby hears its mother's heartbeat when they are in her, so maybe that explains why he likes listening to heartbeats, said Rin. You were like that when you were a baby. Yeah, I remember the stories you told me, said Sakura. How about my little granddaughter? Asked Rin as she looked at the sleeping Eri. She is actually the good one, said Sakura. She will sleep for hours unless her brother wakes her up. Boys tend to be more troublesome when they are babies than girls, said Rin as little Eri opened her eyes to show her deep blue eyes. She has her father's eyes. Yeah, I would think her eye color would change, but with that necklace the Kyuubi gave us tells me that will be her eye color, said Sakura as she sat down on a chair holding her daughter. Where did you put those things? Asked Rin as she noticed that Sakura had her own. Well, they are too young for that, so they are hanging from the crib, answered Sakura as she closed her eyes a bit only to have Eri start a low cry. Someone is wet. Sakura stood up only to be stopped by her mother. Here, let me, you get some time off your feet, said Rin as Sakura held out her daughter, which Rin took. The changing station is in her room, said Sakura as she sat back down. Rin hurried down the hallway and entered a side room to the left of Naruto's and Sakura's bedroom. The room was painted a light shade of pink with teddy bears wallpapers. In the corner was a toy box full of toys that Sakura had gotten during the baby shower. In the corner by the window was Eri's personal crib. However, Rin went to the changing station by the other wall. It had been a long time since she had changed a diaper, but a mother never truly forgot. There is a clean girl now. Now let's get you back to your mother, said Rin as her granddaughter smiled a bit. Her heart warmed at the smile from the little girl. She carried Eri back out to the living room only to see Sakura with her head resting in her hands sound asleep. On second thought, why don't you just stay with me for a bit and let your mom get some rest? It was a late May night as most of the village was sound asleep, however at the Namikaze estate a cry could be heard. "That is a wet cry and it's your turn," said a still mostly asleep Sakura as she rolled off her husband's chest as Naruto stood up and walked toward his crying daughter. "Come on Eri, let's get you changed," said Naruto as he picked up his daughter. After a week of having their kids at home, Naruto and Sakura had developed a system to get their kids to sleep, however they normally only got around an hour of sleep before one of them would need something. While Naruto was changing a diaper, Tsunade was sitting in her study. Some nights she couldn't find sleep. Ever since Jiraiya died she could sleep without drowning at least a half a bottle of shake. She knew it was bad for her and she shouldn't do it, but it was the only way she could find any sleep. She couldn't help but look at the photo of the two of them at Naruto and Sakura's wedding. She downed another drink as turned to look out the window and at the full moon and the star-filled sky. Jiraiya always loved the night sky, thought Tsunade as she thought back to one of their early missions together. Flashback. "See, that is the constellation Azure the Dragon," said a 12-year-old Jiraiya as he pointed toward the stars in the sky. "Azure the Dragon is a Chinese constellation." "That is nice Jiraiya, now get some sleep and leave me alone," ordered Tsunade as she looked toward the fire. "It's my time for the watch." End flashback. Probably the only thing he loved more than star watching was writing those stupid perverted books about women, thought Tsunade as she looked out the window. Suddenly she noticed a figure standing on the window's edge. The outline of the finger made her look back at her drink, then back at the window. The image was still there. Slowly she stood up and opened the window. "Jiraiya?" asked Tsunade as she finally saw who was outside the window. Her eyes widened in horror as she saw who was there. It was in fact Jiraiya, but he was different. His white hair was now orange, he had metal rods sticking out of his flesh and his eyes had changed into a strange ripple pattern. "There is no Jiraiya, there is only pain," stated the former Jiraiya turned pain. "Jiraiya?" Tsunade asked, stunned as Jiraiya ran through hand signs. "The world shall know pain and then there will be peace," stated the pain Jiraiya. "I am just going to call him Jiraiya to make it simple." With that he slammed his fist onto the ground, causing a massive cloud of smoke to rise. The entire building shook as Tsunade was sent flying as a huge multiple-headed dog appeared in the center of the village. The building falling to the ground caused the ground to shake under Naruto's feet as he looked out the window of his bedroom. His half-asleep eyes became wide as he noticed a massive cloud of smoke rising from the area around Tsunade's place. In the smoke he could make out the image of a multiple-headed dog. "Sakura!" yelled Naruto as he looked back to his still sleeping wife. The sound of his raised voice caused Riki to cry in his crib while Eri started to cry in his arms. "What?" asked Sakura as she looked at her husband. "The village is under attack," stated Naruto as Sakura's eyes widened. "What?" asked Sakura as she looked out the window at the massive creature now attacking the center of the village. "We have to get out there." "Sakura, you stay with the kids, I will head out," said Naruto as Sakura looked at him. "I am not pregnant anymore, you can't pull the protection line on me, Naruto-kun," stated Sakura. "Yes, but one of us has to protect them," said Naruto as he looked at their kids. "If this is Sasuke or someone else, they may come after our kids. Please stay here and protect them." "Alright," said Sakura, "but if you need me don't wait to call." "I will not wait," said Naruto as he handed over their daughter before getting ready. Elsewhere the smoke was seen by people beside Naruto. All over the Leaf people were waking up. Ninjas were rushing into battle, but others were already ready for battle. "That smoke is the sign to attack," said Lee as he and Guren stood near the western gate. The rest of the Akatsuki were spread out all over the Leaf. Their mission was simple: to cause as much pain and destruction. "So where are you going?" asked Guren. "Right after Sakura. She has dishonored herself and the only way to restore the Leaf's honor is to kill the demon summoners, starting with her," stated Lee. Only a few hundred yards away Sasuke Uchiha looked out over the Leaf at the rising smoke. "Looks like someone else is attacking the Leaf tonight," stated Suigetsu. "Well, that means we can sneak in better and kill those kids." "Why stop there? The Leaf is under attack, that means that they will be weakened. We can end this war and kill them all tonight," said Sasuke. Good plan, but how do you plan to get them here? We are too close to them to summon them because of that idiotic rule about not doing instant transportation in areas under their control. Added Suigetsu. Alright, you two go back to the neutral area and summon them in, and then we have them head straight to the leaf, said Sasuke. With the scorpions and sharks transported, the snakes will follow. And what are you going to do? Asked Yugo. Pay my old teammates a visit, said Sasuke as he pulled his sword. Meanwhile, Tsunade pulled herself out of the rubble of her former home. Her body was covered with small cuts. Jiraiya, said Tsunade as she looked up at the body of her former teammate turned into a puppet of the real pain. This may hurt me, but I will end you and let your body go to rest. Summoning Justu. With that, the large blue slug Katsuyu appeared on the battlefield. On a nearby rooftop, Shikamaru and Temari landed. Instantly Shikamaru raised a pair of Byakugan to his eyes. What do you see? Asked Temari. It was kind of hard to know for sure what was going on, but Shikamaru quickly figured out the general idea of what was happening. Looks like the Akatsuki is attacking, but only one member is attacking, said Shikamaru as more ninjas landed on the rooftop. One of those ninjas was Naruto. Shikamaru, what is going on? Asked Naruto. We are under attack, but not from here, answered Shikamaru. What are you talking about? I can see them from here, said Tenten as she and Niji's ANBU team appeared on the rooftop. Yes, they are attacking, but only one of them is attacking here. They and the rest are likely going to hit us somewhere else. This attack is only trying to get our main forces into the center so they can attack somewhere else easier, said Shikamaru. Niji, scan the area and tell me if you see anything out of the ordinary. Alright, said Niji. Too bad it was Hinata's turn to be on patrol. Her Byakugan is stronger, thought Shikamaru. Where is Sakura? Asked Temari. Making sure our kids are safe, explained Naruto. I thought Choji would be here by now. He is making sure that Ino gets to the bunkers, explained Shikamaru, and personally I don't think we should send him out into this battle. Why, with Jiraiya gone he is the Toad Sage now, said Naruto. That is the point. It looks like Pain is controlling what is left of Jiraiya as a new Pain, answered Shikamaru. Could you kill your own sensei? Shikamaru, I see Lee and a woman heading toward the western gate, and I see Kabuto and a something that looks like a plant man is by the eastern gate, said Niji. Alright, our first task is to take down the Pain in the center. I take him on while the others spread out and find the real Pain, said Shikamaru. Naruto uses your Thunder God technique to travel between all the high points. We will take Lee, said a new voice as Shikamaru looked to see Guy standing there. He is my student, let me and my team handle him. Alright, said Shikamaru, make sure to be careful. Naruto, have you sent a message off to Hinata and the demons? Asked Temari. A massager fox is on the move, but I can summon the Kyuubi if needed, said Naruto. I can call Hatch High, but let's try to handle this ourselves. If it is just the Akatsuki we should be able to handle it fine, said Shikamaru. Now you all have your missions, go. Good luck, Shikamaru, said Naruto as he headed off to find the real Pain. Soon everyone beside Temari left. Do you think that you can kill Jiraiya? Asked Temari. Jiraiya is already dead, that is nothing more than a human meat puppet, stated Shikamaru. Besides, I don't have as much history with Jiraiya as Naruto or Choji. Alright, said Temari, I will coordinate the search for Pain and the other members of the Akatsuki. Alright, just be careful, said Shikamaru. I am not the one charging into battle, said Temari with a grin. I am not the one who is pregnant, stated Shikamaru as Temari's eyes widened. You know? Asked Temari as she looked at her husband going on 4 years. Yeah, I found the test strips in the trash when I took it out before going to bed, said Shikamaru. I am just wondering why you didn't tell me. Because last time the tests were wrong, so I was going to have a blood test done today, said Temari. I didn't want to raise your hopes only to have it dashed again. Shikamaru nodded his head in understanding. Alright, just be extra careful, said Shikamaru as he jumped off the rooftop and headed toward the battle. Tsunade was struggling against Jiraiya, Maybe it was because she was halfway drunk or the fact that it was Jiraiya but her heart wasn't in the fight. "Take this," yelled Tsunade as she leaped off the head of the slug to poach Jiraiya in the face. However, Jiraiya simply moved out of the way before running those hand signs. "Summoning Justu," stated Jiraiya as a large black bird appeared. Slowly Jiraiya rose up into the sky. "You can't win this, Tsunade. The world shall feel unimaginable pain and then there will be peace." "You feel pain first," stated a new voice as Jiraiya looked up. Somehow Shikamaru had jumped up to his height. "Lightning-style demon wolf claw," stated Shikamaru as a lightning covered Shikamaru's fingertips. He swiped at the air, sending the bolts of lightning from his fingertips. The lightning bolts went straight through the bird, killing it in an instant. To Jiraiya's and Tsunade's surprise, it didn't disappear in a puff of smoke, instead it fell to the ground in a pool of blood. Jiraiya had dodged the attack by jumping off the bird, landing on a nearby rooftop. "Why isn't it disappearing?" asked Tsunade as Shikamaru landed beside her. "All summons disappear when they are killed in battle. With normal chakra, yes, but this is demon chakra," stated Shikamaru. "When a summons die at the hands of demon chakra, they die for good. Judging from the reports from Choji, he can bring that multiple head dog back from the dead, so I decided to take no chances and used demon chakra. Also, judging from the fact he has only summon means that all he can do." "Very good, Shikamaru Nara, summoner of the demon wolves," said Jiraiya. "I have over 10,000 summons, so killing one doesn't matter to me." "Is everyone else on the move?" asked Tsunade. "Yes," answered Shikamaru. "I am just wondering how he got through the chakra barrier without setting off any alarms." "He and Minato Namikaze helped design the barrier," said Tsunade. "That is why I know part of him is in there. Even if Pain has gained access to some of Jiraiya's memories, he is dead anyway," said Shikamaru. "Shikamaru Nara, summoner of the demon wolves. You stand in the way of total peace, and as such you feel nothing but pain. Now feel the wrath of one of the strongest summons," stated Jiraiya as he ran through hand signs. "Summoning Justu." With that, a giant wolf 5 times larger than the multiple head dog appeared. Its claws were the size of humans. All over its body, sticking out of its black fur, were those metal rods. Its glowing red eyes scanned the village. Tsunade backed up at the sight of the large wolf. "You have to be joking. You are challenging the demon wolf summoner with a wolf?" asked Shikamaru with a laugh as he ran through hand signs of his own before slamming his hand against the ground. When the smoke cleared, a dark blue wolf almost twice the size as Pain's wolf appeared. Hatch High, the lord of all demon wolves, had appeared on the battlefield. Not very smart. Elsewhere on the battlefield, Lee and Guren made their way through the battlefield, destroying anything they came across. Guren was sealing entire buildings inside her crystals while Lee was just walking down the street. "Where are all the people?" asked Guren as she looked around at the empty streets. "We need to kill them in order to really put an end to the Leaf. They are likely already inside the bunkers spread out all over the Leaf," answered Lee. "The outer areas are always the first to be evacuated and the defense forces are likely near the center of the village. We will not likely meet any of them until we get closer to the action." "That is where you are wrong," said a new voice as Lee turned around to see 3 people landing in the street just in front of them. "Who do we have here?" asked Guren as she looked at the newcomer. The older one looked a lot like Lee and was even dressed the same. The other male had long black hair that reached to the middle of back. He had on black pants with a jounin vest on his chest. Judging from the mark on the arm, he was ANBU and a captain at that. His white eyes told her that he was a member of the Hyuga clan. Beside him was a woman, dressed in a similar uniform with an ANBU mark on her arm minus the extra mark for being a captain. "Long time no see, Lee," said the older male. "Hello, Guy-sensei," said Lee. "No, you are no longer the same person who was my most youthful student who had the greatest will of fire I had ever seen. Instead you have yet your flame of youth be corrupted," said Lee with tears in his eyes. "You are no longer my student." "I have not been corrupted, it was this village that was corrupted and I will purge this village with my youthful flame," snapped Lee, "and not even my former teammates and sensei will stand in my way." Niji, 10-10 you handle the women, said Guy as he bent down and released the leg weights before dropping the arm weights. Lee is mine. While the battle raged all around him, Sasuke Uchiha calmly walked through the streets of the Lee. Finally he reached his target, the front door of the Namikaze estate. Knock, knock, stated Sasuke as he kicked down the door to the house and stepped inside. The moment he stepped inside, a fist came flying his way. Instantly he grabbed the arm with one hand. When he stopped that attack, another fist came flying at him. Once again he stopped that attack. Long time no see, Sakura. Not long enough for me, stated Sakura as red demon fox chakra surrounded her as her eyes became silted. Suddenly out of her arm bend came a blade that stopped just short of Sasuke's nose. Now why the fuck are you here? I want to kill your kids, said Sasuke as Sakura's eyes narrowed. No one harms my kids, snapped Sakura as her blood began to boil. I will kill you just like I killed your wife. Now just tell me where they are so I can end their lives, said Sasuke as Sakura smirked. Flashback. Sakura stood in her battle uniform watching Hatch-High do battle with a giant summoned wolf. Suddenly she heard a knock at the front door. Instantly a blade came out of her wrist guard. However, she relaxed as the door started to open. She knew who it was. Mom, said Sakura. Sakura, I came as fast as I can, said Rin as she breathed heavily. It's a war out there. I know, Naruto-kun is out there and I want so bad to be out there, said Sakura. Then why aren't you? Asked a new voice as Sakura looked to see Katara. Katara, long time no see, said Sakura. Yeah, been busy with running things in our world, but we just got word of the attack here, said Katara. Kyuubi is organizing our forces and is on the way here. In the meantime we need to get you into this fight. I will not leave my kids unguarded, said Sakura. No mother would, but we can guard them better in the demon world, said Katara. What are you talking about? Asked Rin. We can bring your kids to the demon world and they will be safe from everything that happens here, said Katara. That way you can go out and help Naruto. If it makes you feel better, I will go with them to make sure they are fine, said Rin. End flashback. Mine and Naruto-kun kids are safe from you. They are in a place you can never get to, said Sakura as she tried to push her blade into Sasuke's face. However, slowly he was pushing the blade to his side away from his face. Seeing her closing, decided to use an option on her hidden blade. Sasuke's eyes widened as the entire blade came flying out of the holder. The blade flew straight forward, but lucky for Sasuke the blade missed the center of his face and instead caused a long deep cut across his cheek and cut off the lower part of his right ear. The blade scraped past bone, making a wound so deep that if it wasn't for demon healing ability he would have been in shock from blood loss. You bitch, yelled Sasuke as blood ran down the side of his face. Naturally he lifted his hand up to grab the side of his face. I am a vixen, now get the fuck out of my house, yelled Sakura as she punched Sasuke so hard that he went flying backwards and into the sky.